Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto goes back in time to help Minato survive Kyuubi attack part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. The October night was chilly, the skies above murky although the moon shone on through with its yellowish light. But despite the cool air that was about this night, Minato Namikaze, the fourth, and currently active, Hokage was anything but feeling cool. He felt rather heated, but he was in all fairness engaged in combat at the moment. But that begs a rather pertinent question. Minato was nothing short of a legend, surpassing many who had come before him. Many other hidden villages actually have flee-on-sight orders issued so that if any of their men saw Minato on the opposing side, their men had to turn around and run for their lives. So who could have a man like Minato heated, have him sweating? The Nine-Tailed Fox, that's who. The Nine Tails, having been previously sealed in Minato's wife Kushina, was extracted and loosed by a Rouge ninja who had long since fled. The Nine Tails then went on a rampage through Konoha, but Minato was able to take it far away from the village. The reason why all of this had been happening is because Kushina gave birth to her and Minato's son that night. Their first child, Naruto they had named him, was scarcely an hour old, and already he had been given knowledge of just how dangerous and cruel the ninja world can be. Kushina was weak, not just from giving birth to Naruto, but also from having the Nine Tails extracted from her. That is something that, under normal circumstances, would actually kill the person who had a tailed beast extracted from them. But Kushina was made of some pretty tough stuff. She was still alive. Even so, the tough stuff that fueled Kushina had its limits. She knew she was going to die this night, even though she used an Uzumaki clan sealing technique to reseal half of the Nine Tails' great power back into her, she couldn't reseal all of it back into herself. That half of the Nine Tails Kushina had reclaimed is the main reason why she was able to help Minato keep the other half of the Nine Tails' power contained. The Nine Tails itself was still there, and still utterly giant. But it was a lot less giant than it was before Kushina resealed half of it back into herself. As for the other half, Kushina was planning to seal it into Naruto. Kushina, how long do you think we can maintain the barrier and those chains of yours? Minato called out. We'll maintain them for as long as need be, Kushina said, huffing and puffing with the sheer exhaustion that was plaguing her at the moment. Minato was worried, especially given that his wife was using the Reaper Death Seal to seal away the Nine Tails into Naruto. That alone guaranteed that Kushina was going to die tonight, as that particular brand of seal required the caster's life as a sacrifice. But even without that looming specter of death over Kushina right now, she was most likely going to die tonight anyway, having her tailed beast extracted in the first place, with the labor of childbirth stacked on top of that, was not going to be friendly towards Kushina's ability to live at all. The now smaller but still significantly large Nine Tails, seeing that Kushina was about to seal the rest of it into another target, roared defiantly as it pulled a clawed paw back and threw it at Kushina, aiming to keep her from resealing the rest of it. Minato cried out in fear for his wife, yelling, "Kushina!" In desperation. The fourth Hokage silently, but quickly, prayed for a miracle, anything at all, to help prevent total disaster. Little did Minato know his prayer would be answered, but not in the traditional sense. The claw of the Nine Tails was about to pierce right through Kushina and Minato, who rushed to his wife, but Minato, as well as the Nine Tails who perked up, were distracted when they all heard a male voice call out, "Oh, big, furry, and ugly. Hot damn, are you hideous?" Minato turned to look. Kushina couldn't as she had to focus on the Reaper Death Seal. Standing there were 3 shinobi of Konoha and a large ninja dog who wore an eye patch and was missing an ear. The first Konoha shinobi was a fair-skinned man about Minato's height and general build, with collarbone-length pink hair worn straight. He was outfitted as per what was standard for Konoha shinobi of the Jonin rank. The second Konoha shinobi was a woman who was at least half a head shorter. She had lightly tanned fair skin, scruffy chin-length brown hair, and red markings that resembled fangs on her face, one on each cheek. She was also outfitted as per what was standard for Konoha shinobi of the Jonin rank. The female shinobi was also the one commanding the ninja dog, and that dog was the only one in the group who looked terrified at the sight of the Nine Tails. The third shinobi of the group was a man same as the first, fair-skinned, with long blonde hair and a single men's ponytail. He was outfitted same as his companions, but he added a pair of Han-kote gauntlets and a dark red sleeveless Haori long coat that reached halfway down his thighs. Judging by how the blonde male shinobi was pointing at the Nine Tails while looking at him, it was the blonde male shinobi who has called out just now. Minato recognized the group who had just arrived. The pink-haired man is Harold Fisher, the woman and her ninja dog are Tsum Inuzuka and Kuramaru, and the blonde man is Inoichi Yamanaka. Harold? Tsum? Inoichi? How did you 3 get inside of the barrier? Minato said, too stunned to be more expressive. You tell me and we'll all know, Lord Fourth, Kuramaru replied. Kuramaru is one of the very rare examples of a ninja dog who gained the ability to talk. Now, would you mind explaining why the Ninetales is here? Kuramaru asked. Minato was about to speak up, but the Ninetales roared at everyone present, and that roar had some wind force to it. Bad! Sim scolded as she walked up to the Ninetales and smacked it on the nose with a rolled-up newspaper she somehow had on her person. The Ninetales actually stopped short, not out of shame for being scolded, but out of sheer surprise as well as confusion over what had just happened. The Ninetales wasn't the only one who was confused. Minato was also surprised, as well as shocked, that Sim had just smacked a tailed beast on the nose with a rolled-up newspaper, as if she were just casually disciplining an unruly ninja dog belonging to the Inuzuka clan, who are known to make great use of their many ninja dogs. And it wasn't just Sim who bravely stood in defiance of the Ninetales. Harold and Inoichi were being just as brave. The Ninetales actually stopped in its rampaging, due to sheer confusion and surprise at the presence of such defiant humans. That moment was what gave Kushina time to successfully seal the rest of the Ninetales into Naruto, who was cradled on a sun-mown altar. The mighty-tailed beast vanished into Naruto, a powerful seal appeared on Naruto's belly, and the danger had finally been averted in full. But it came at a terrible price. Kushina, her job done and all of her energies expended, finally collapsed, falling to her knees. Minato, with his legendary speed, rushed to his wife, holding her in his arms. I'm sorry, Minato, Kushina said, it looks like I won't be around to help with raising our son. No, don't be sorry, it's not your fault, Minato said. If anything, this all was the fault of that rogue ninja to release the Ninetales from Kushina. Minato wasn't upset with Kushina. He wasn't upset with Naruto. How could anyone be upset with a baby who was born roughly an hour ago? No, it was the fault of that rogue ninja. Minato wanted to find that rogue ninja and make them pay. But matters of personal vengeance had to wait. Although the attack had ended, there was still damage to the village, there was bound to be more dead. And Kushina, with Minato feeling the last of her life leaving her, would be counted among that number. Minato gently sobbed as he held his now deceased wife's body, feeling very much alone. However, Minato was perked up from his sorrow over Kushina's passing by Kuramaru saying, "Hey, what about this baby?" Perking up, Minato turned to look at where Naruto laid on the altar, squirming around a bit as he slept. Gently, Minato laid Kushina's body down before getting up and walking over to where Naruto laid. Kuramaru, his one remaining ear pinned back while he wagged his tail gently, gave a sniff at Naruto before licking him on his right cheek. Kuramaru actually whined in worried concern as Naruto started to whine a bit. Acting quickly, Minato took off his own Haori coat and used it as swaddling to wrap Naruto up and keep him warm against the October chill. "Yo, Lord Fourth," Harold began, "who's the baby?" Turning to face Harold as well as Inoichi and Sim, Minato replied, "This is Naruto. He's my son. He was born about an hour ago." Sim was about to speak up, but got cut off when an older male voice called out, "Minato, are you alright?" Everyone turned to see an older male shinobi, clearly geared up for war, rush in with some other Konoha shinobi with him. "Oh, Lord Third," Minato said, identifying the older male shinobi as the previous Hokage. Hiruzen Sarutobi stepped down as Hokage after many years, and Minato took his place. But even though Hiruzen had retired from active duty doesn't mean he can't throw down if need be. Hiruzen looked around, saw that the Ninetales was gone, saw that Kushina lay dead. Hiruzen looked to Minato. "I suppose that we ought to clean things up here and get back to the village," Hiruzen said, "the chill will not be kind." Minato too wanted to get out of there. Turning around, Minato looked to Harold, Inoichi, Sim, and Kuramaru. "Can one of you aid in carrying Kushina back?" Minato asked. "I got this," Sim replied as she turned to pick up Kushina's body. The walk back to the village was somber, and Minato was grateful everyone was keeping quiet. Only Naruto wasn't quiet, but that's because he started crying. But again, he was just born that night. He's well under a day old. Can he really be blamed? Can he be blamed for anything? The next morning, Minato was in his office at the Hokage office building, going over reports about the Ninetales attack last night. There was a lot of damage, a lot of dead. But Konoha had overall survived, and it can/will rebuild. Not even the Ninetales can take down the village hidden in the leaf. Right now, Minato was speaking with Fugaku Uchiha, the head of the Uchiha clan, one of the most prominent clans of ninja in Konoha. Fugaku also headed up the Konoha police force, the local law enforcement in the village. Suffice it to say, Fugaku was a man of great standing and importance in Konoha. Fugaku, Minato began, "I got it that the Uchiha clan did nothing to help fend off the Ninetales last night. That's rather worrisome. I don't suppose you can explain? We were ordered by Elder Danzo to focus solely on keeping civilians away from the area of battle, Fugaku said. We were doing just escort and evac. We weren't actually allowed to fight. That caught Minato's attention. The Uchiha clan, one of the four most important clans in Konoha, was barred by one of the three elders from helping out. Minato planned to pursue this matter further, especially since he's always been at least a little suspicious of Danzo. With this, he just got more fuel for the fire. I'm not all that surprised that Danzo is to blame here, Minato replied in a tired huff. The Uchiha clan would have been rather invaluable to efforts in subduing the Ninetales last night. When word of Danzo barring your clan from action last night gets out, it'll make him look bad, maybe his fellow elders as well. At least the office of the Hokage believes in the Uchiha clan, Fugaku remarked. There's a lot of distrust aimed at me and my right now clan because of how none of us helped fight against the Ninetales last night. Minato was about to speak up, but stopped short when the door to his office opened up, and in walked Harold, Inoichi, Tsum, and Kuramaru. The three humans all had stunned look of surprise on their faces. Basically wide circular eyes with big black pupils, and small little flat lines for mouths. Arching a wry eyebrow, Minato asked, Are you three okay? Remember when Tsum and her friends here helped you face off against the Ninetales last night, Lord Fourth? Kuramaru began. The three of them are getting pretty famous for their role last night, Minato remarked. They're being praised as heroes who are brave in the face of danger. Yeah, well, here's the thing, Kuramaru began to explain. The reason that Tsum and the guys here had helped you out last night is not because they're brave in the face of danger, but because the three of them were all too drunk last night to realize that they were in any danger. That makes a lot more sense for those three, Fugaku remarked casually. Wait a minute, Minato said. Harold, Inoichi, Tsum, you three were all drunk last night when you helped me deal with the Ninetales? We were drunk out of our gourds, yes, Tsum admitted. But we've sobered up and now recall more clearly what happened, Inoichi said, and who boy, were we all surprised to realize that we had tangoed with the Ninetales and lived to tell the tale. Kuramaru said that Tsum had smacked the Ninetales on the nose with a rolled-up newspaper, Harold remarked. I'm sorry, she did what? Fugaku practically exclaimed. Turning to look at Tsum, Fugaku said, Tsum, do you have a death wish or something? Because that there is a rather suicidal level of reckless behavior. In my defense, I was completely and utterly shit-faced last night, Tsum pointed out. Also Fugaku, Inoichi began, I got it from Shikaku and Choza as the lads here and I were on our way and that you and your clan were a no-show for fighting the Ninetales last night. According to Fugaku, the Uchiha clan was ordered to focus solely on evac and escort duty to keep civilians away from the fighting, Minato replied. One of the three village elders, Danzo, had been the one to issue such orders. Pfft, it doesn't surprise me that old war hawk of a man would pull a stunt like that, Harold said. I swear, he's got a hate boner for the Uchiha clan. Minato leaned back in his chair. The fourth Hokage let out a tired huff. I've been meaning to look into new advisors anyway, Minato said. Danzo and the other two elders came with the job when I took it over from Lord Third. But their views and ways are, how do I put this gently? Outdated? Kuramaru offered. Pointing commendingly at Kuramaru, Minato said, Yes, outdated, that's perfect. Settling back down, Minato went on, Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of viable options right now, and I don't exactly have the luxury of hosting interviews for the job at the moment. Aside from overseeing rebuilding here in Konoha after the Ninetales attack, I'm scrambling to figure out a way to care for Naruto while I'm working. Fugaku perked up at that. Oh, Makoto told me that you and your wife were planning to name the child you were going to have Naruto, Fugaku spoke up. How is the lad doing? Safe and sound, Minato replied, thank goodness for that. He's currently being looked over at the local hospital. Shrugging, Harold said, You looking for a nanny to care for the baby while you're busy? I would offer to ask my wife Makoto if she'd be up for it, Fugaku remarked, but she's busy with our second-born son Sasuke. Little Sasuke was born a very short while ago. Gesturing to himself, Harold said, and that's at least part of why I was going to offer to ask my wife Sophia if she'd be up for it. She's got no work right now, and we have no kids, so she's all free to do it. Assuming, of course, you're willing to take her on for the job, and also if I asked her, and she says she can do it. Minato considered Harold's offer. He was vaguely aware of Harold's wife Sophia. He saw her a few times with Kushina. In comparison to Harold, Sophia is a gentle, non-excitable lady who does things in a calm and gentle way. Sophia is also a regular Konoha citizen, no ninja skills or anything, so it's not like she'll be deployed on a mission all of a sudden. Well, she might agree to take on a more domestic kind of mission. Later, Minato had gathered what all persons had any awareness of the fact that the Ninetales was sealed inside of Naruto, making him a Jinchuriki. It was just Harold, Inoichi, Tsum, Kuramaru, Hiruzen, and the few shinobi who came with Hiruzen to the scene of where Kushina had died after giving the last of her efforts. Minato urged all who knew to swear themselves to secrecy. He was worried how people would react to the fact that the Ninetales, feared as a great and mighty demon, was now sealed inside of a baby. Hiruzen instantly agreed, citing how Naruto was not going to need all of the negative attention that came with being the host of a tailed beast. As such, all persons who knew swore themselves to secrecy. That was one bit of insurance that made Minato feel better. Another thing that made Minato feel better was when he got out the report that pinned the blame for the Uchiha clan being a no-show during the Ninetales' attack on Konoha solely on one of the village elders. The comprehensive report said that a full, serious investigation confirmed that one of the village elders had ordered the Uchiha clan to focus solely on evac and escort duty to keep civilians away from the fighting during the attack, effectively barring all Uchiha clan ninja from fighting the Ninetales. The heat aimed at the Uchiha clan died down as a result. This had resulted in the overall approval of the three village elders dropping a fair bit. Said elders were not amused, Danzo especially so. But they were told that all of the clans in Konoha had to be respected. Danzo's actions in holding back the Uchiha clan and making them look bad was a great disservice to one of Konoha's most notable clans. Things settled down for a while, so Minato was able to focus on running the village. He also was wanting to find new advisors, ones who were younger and better understood the fact that times change and that people had to change with it. But he still had a lot on his plate, so for now the three village elders remained in their cushy positions. Minato wasn't all that fond right now of Danzo being in one such position, though. It had been a few years since the Ninetales' attack on Konoha, and things had returned to normal, or at least to as much normal as possible. Everything had long since been rebuilt, and people were getting used to things again. Indeed, Konoha had finally recovered from the attack that had been launched on them a few years back. Right now, Minato had arrived home for the evening, and was greeted by Sophia Fisher. The wife of Harold Fisher, Sophia was a fair-skinned lady with a dishwater blonde bob cut that was chin-length. She dressed modestly and simply, wearing a long-sleeved shirt under a t-shirt, and a skirt that reached her ankles. She didn't put her sandals on yet, which caught Minato's attention. "Is something the matter, Sophia?" Minato asked, also catching that Sophia had a nervous, fretting look on her face. Lord Fourth, Sophia began, "promise that you won't freak out, but one of the legendary Sannin, Lord Jiraiya, had come by to see you." Minato gave a relaxed, understanding smile. "Ah, there's no need to worry about that," Minato replied, "I've actually been expecting him." Sophia was dismissed for the evening, but she will be back in the morning before Minato left for work for the day. Minato found Jiraiya sitting at his dining table, with a small plate of cookies and a glass of milk. Standing nearby was Naruto. Now 3, Naruto wore a dark green long-sleeved shirt under the t-shirt that he wore, and baggy dark tan cargo shorts held up with a belt. "I hadn't kept you waiting for too long, have I?" Minato asked as he sat down opposite of Jiraiya. "Oh no, I only got here a few minutes before you showed up," Jiraiya replied. "I'm guessing that the nanny I hired to watch Naruto for me while I'm busy with my duties as Hokage got you the snack?" Minato asked. Jiraiya chuckled a bit in amusement. "Actually, Naruto had served me," Jiraiya explained. "He's a guest, and it's important to be hospitable to guests," Naruto spoke up. Minato smiled, small but warm and sincere, at how Naruto was growing into a sweet and kindly kid. No doubt it's due to the influence of Sophia, given that she's the one who is raising him. "So sensei," Minato said, "what brings you by?" "I've been away for a while and wanted to check in," Jiraiya replied. "Also, I had just learned what happened to Kushina." "I am so sorry, Minato." Minato nodded once in acknowledgement. "Thanks, it means a lot," Minato remarked. "There's also something else that I want to ask about," Jiraiya began, "something that has 9 points to it." Minato could tell right away that Jiraiya wanted to know about the Ninetales. Figuring that it had to happen, Minato turned to look to Naruto. "Naruto, your godfather here and I need to talk in private," Minato said, "so it's time for B." "He's my grandfather?" Naruto said, cutting Minato off. "Why didn't you say so, Dad?" "No, I didn't say grandfather," Minato began to correct. "I said grandfather, that's right," Jiraiya cut in, an amused look with hints of knowing mischief in his expression. "But seriously, lad, your dad and I do need to talk, and it is late, so you ought to go to bed now." Naruto said he had to brush his teeth first, but after Jiraiya supervised that, Naruto was gotten to bed. "Sorry, I couldn't resist," Jiraiya said to Minato after Naruto was gotten to bed, "but can you really blame me?" I mean, did you see how happy and excited Naruto was? Who was I to spoil his excitement? Minato let off a gentle sigh. Well, it would help getting him to be more respectful towards you, I have to admit, Minato remarked, but we can discuss that later. For now getting serious, Minato went on, you wanted to talk about the Nine Tails, didn't you? Where did it go? Jiraiya asked. Kushina, after the Nine Tails was taken out of her, resealed it into Naruto, Minato began. It's supposed to be a secret, but Minato knew that he could trust Jiraiya to know. Jiraiya's eyes went wide with shocked surprise. Yeah, that's important to know, replied the legendary Sannin. The kid is basically a walking container for a wad of unlimited chakra. Giving Minato a wry look, Jiraiya asked, how many people know? Myself, Minato began, you now, Harold Fisher, Inoichi Yamanaka, Suminazuka and her ninja dog Kuramaru, Lord Hiruzen, and 4 shinobi who were with Lord Sarutobi at the time. Everyone aside from you has been sworn to secrecy, even me, although I figured that I can trust you to know and help keep the secret. Jiraiya had a look of contemplation on his face. You know, I was actually called in by Hiruzen-sensei, Jiraiya began, but he wouldn't tell me why exactly it was important, only that it involved the growth of your son. But now I see. Looking to Minato, Jiraiya said, Hiruzen-sensei thinks that Naruto ought to be trained to properly harness the power of the Nine Tails. Naruto is only 3, Minato cut in. I'm not saying he ought to be drilled on using that power immediately, Jiraiya cut in, even I wouldn't think of trying to train a 3-year-old in wielding unlimited chakra. But still, he ought to get started soon on at least some basic skills. He's gonna be going into Konoha's Ninja Academy when he's old enough to start going, right? Minato couldn't argue that point. Naruto would start going to Konoha's Ninja Academy when he was old enough. And it would give Naruto a leg up if he was tutored and trained ahead of time. Looking to Jiraiya, Minato asked, what do you think, Jiraiya-sensei? It's clear that Hiruzen-sensei wants me to train Naruto in using the Nine Tails' power, Jiraiya said, and while I do agree it ought to be done eventually, I think that doing so right now would be way too much and way too soon. I was still going to offer to train and tutor Naruto, but we would start on the more basic stuff, like simple exercises and training and the like. Smirking in amusement, Minato said, well, given how Naruto had misheard me and as a result thinks that you're his grandpa, I think he'll be willing to listen to you. And I can't really think of anyone better for the job. But are you sure you're up for it? Jiraiya blushed a bit. Well, Jiraiya said, I do, admittedly, need to lay low for a bit. I had been doing some research for the next Ika novel that I'm working on right now, and I had the bad luck of being spotted fleeing in a rush. Luckily no one got any good looks at me. Minato sighed in a resigned, knowing tone. Jiraiya-sensei, Minato said. In addition to Sophia doing general care for Naruto, Jiraiya tutored and trained him in basic ninja skills. Naruto got a firm hold on chakra control, his control over his chakra sharpened and refined to the highest degree with the tree walking and water walking exercises that Jiraiya had him do. Jiraiya also got Naruto to master a few basic jutsus, like the substitution jutsu. When Naruto fumbled for the first time, however, was the basic clone jutsu. After some trial and error, Jiraiya came to the conclusion that Naruto's fumbling of the basic clone jutsu was due to, surprisingly enough, the fact that Naruto had an utterly obscene amount of chakra. Even without the Nine Tails' chakra, which Naruto hadn't been trained in yet, also he doesn't know about it, Naruto still had loads of chakra. Jiraiya, having deduced that Naruto's natural chakra reserves are due to his Uzumaki heritage, decided that Naruto may be able to more effectively wield a stronger form of clone jutsu that could handle Naruto's sheer amount of chakra. With permission from Minato, Jiraiya attempted to teach the Shadow Clone Jutsu to Naruto. The Shadow Clone Jutsu, the strongest form of the clone jutsu and also a normally forbidden technique, ended up being mastered by Naruto in record time. In theory, Naruto could be passed by the academy right now and be made a genin, but Jiraiya felt Naruto ought to go through the academy proper anyway. There's a lot that Naruto can learn at the academy that simply cannot be learned by any other means. Mainly basic socialization skills. Naruto is a kid still, and he needs time to grow with others his own age and be socialized. Minato wholeheartedly agreed with Jiraiya that Naruto needed those non-ninja training benefits that the academy could provide. However, Minato was worried about how Naruto would get along at the academy. However, it would still be quite some time before Naruto would be able to enter the academy, so until then, he was tutored and trained by Jiraiya. Minato worried that Jiraiya might try to teach Naruto how to use the Rasengan, a technique of Minato's own invention. But Minato had heard nothing of the sort, which relieved him. He felt that Naruto was too young at the moment to be learning the Rasengan. Naruto still had so much to learn. But there would be other things that Naruto would learn about. Not related to training and studying, mind you, but rather village politics news of the unsavory sort. Not exactly the kind of stuff that Minato would want his son to learn about, but it was stuff that Naruto was going to be learning about regardless. A procession from Kyuubi came to Konoha under a white flag, as peace talks between Konoha and Kyuubi were in effect. The hostilities looked as if they were going to be coming to an end, and to that end Minato was very much welcoming of it. However, unbeknownst to Minato, one of Konoha's own ninja was taking preventative measures due to a gut feeling that he had. Over at the Hyuga clan compound, Hayashi Hyuga, leader of the Hyuga clan, was speaking with his younger twin brother Hisashi while their respective kids, Hayashi's daughter Hinata and Hisashi's son Niji, were taking a break from sparring. As the two Hyuga men spoke, they were approached by a Hyuga clan young adult woman dressed as a maid. Lord Hayashi, the maid began, you're not going to believe this, but Harold Fisher is here and wishes to speak with you. He says he wants to ask you something very important. Hayashi arched a wry eyebrow. What in blazes does that goofball of a man want? Hayashi asked rhetorically before gesturing for the maid to go and bring Harold. A few moments later, and the pink-haired man himself showed up. You said you wanted to speak with me? Hayashi asked. Yeah, I just wanted to run something by you, Harold began. First off, you're aware of the fact that a delegation from Kyuubi is here in Konoha for those peace talks, right? Nodding once, Hayashi replied, I'm aware of that, yes. And isn't Kyuubi one of the foreign bodies who had been wanting to get a hold of the magic eyes that the ninja of your clan are known to have? Harold went on. Yes, Kyuubi does have a history of desiring the Byakugan, Hisashi remarked. Where are you going with this? Have you guys taken any measures yet to make sure that Kyuubi doesn't try to pull a sneaky sneak and snatch some of your clan's magic eyes while they're here in Konoha for the peace talks? Harold asked. I mean, what if they're using wanting to have these peace talks as a cover so they can come on into Konoha to do some dark shopping? Hayashi looked genuinely surprised that Harold had reasoned out such a theory, especially since it sounded rather sound. You think that Kyuubi is trying to pull an act of perfidy in order to get the Byakugan? Hayashi asked. There's a word for Kyuubi trying to pull a sneaky sneak on us? Harold replied. Hayashi, Hisashi began, Harold's theory and reasoning is rather sound, especially considering the fact that Kyuubi's history leaves a lot to be desired. I suggest that we take some precautions to ensure the protection of the Byakugan while Kyuubi is visiting in Konoha, just to be safe. Hayashi held a hand to his chin, wore a contemplative look on his face. We'll only need to up security for members of the Hyuga clan's main household, Hayashi said. There's no need to worry about those in the branch household, due to the mark all branch household Hyuga have. I got it that you got a daughter who's around the same age as my sister's daughter, Harold said. She may be an especially big target as a single grown man can easily make off with her. That being said, how's about we set a trap? It was the middle of the night at the Hyuga clan compound when a shadowy figure snuck into Hinata's room as the child lay sleeping. The shadowy figure scooped Hinata up, made their way out of the compound, and then tried to rush off. They clearly felt that they were home free, given that nothing had been tripped up. But then a bunch of shouting sounded out, and the shadowy figure was surrounded by a number of Konoha shinobi, some of which were Hyuga clan members. Harold was among the number, and he jumped up and did a spinning reverse kick that connected his right heel to the side of the shadowy figure's head. The shadowy figure spun, accidentally dropped Hinata, and then dropped himself. He laid prone on the ground as Hayashi walked up and yanked the shadowy figure's mask off. Hey, that's the Kyuubi head ninja, said one of the non-Hyuga shinobi. What's he doing sneaking off after being at the Hyuga clan compound? Because he was trying to steal the secrets of the Byakugan for Kyuubi, Hayashi snarled as some of the other Konoha shinobi picked up the now revealed Kyuubi head ninja and held him up, his arms firmly behind his back. Trapped and outnumbered, the Kyuubi head ninja was by no means in any position to fight back or try to flee. Not only that, but his cover was blown. Konoha was going to be demanding answers from Kyuubi about this incident. Well, what about the brat? Said the Kyuubi head ninja. You guys made me drop her on the ground. It looked like a rather hard drop too. The Kyuubi head ninja smirked a bit in amusement. That can't be good FO. Hey, this is just a dummy, one of the Hyuga ninjas said, drawing attention to where Hinata laid, and revealing that it was actually just a dummy. It even had the silly scarecrow face on the head part, which was fully revealed after Hayashi pulled off a note taped to the head. The head of the Hyuga clan unfolded the note and read it aloud. Dear Kyuubi, Hayashi read aloud, get bent. Signed, Konoha. P.S. Fuck you. Turning to look at Harold, Hayashi said, this looks like your handwriting, Harold. Well, hey, my suspicions of Kyuubi turned out to be valid, Harold remarked with a shrug. Hayashi considered Harold's words for a moment before shrugging himself. True, Hayashi said. The following morning, word of what Kyuubi tried doing in Konoha, and while under the white flag of peace, got out. Minato, naturally, was pissed off, citing that he couldn't believe that Kyuubi would pull an act of perfidy like this. Harold was still amazed that there was a word for it to tell that Kyuubi was pretending to act in good faith with the intent to deceive said good faith. What's more is that Konoha had proof, given that they caught Kyuubi's head ninja alive and had interrogated him. The techniques of the Yamanaka clan made it so that it was literally impossible to hide anything from them. There was a lot of mud slung in Kyuubi's face this day, and it was so annoying to them that they threatened war against Konoha over embarrassing them. In response to that, not only did Suna threaten to aid Konoha against Kyuubi in said conflict, but IWA also declared that they would join Konoha against Kyuubi. Suna and IWA aiding Konoha would make it a 3-on-1 conflict, and not even Kyuubi can stand up to that. Although it was clear that Suna and IWA were both hoping for some more profits from said conflict, they're both strapped for cash at the moment, and saw aiding Konoha against Kyuubi's threats as a way to make a quick buck. Luckily, no war broke out, and Kyuubi was forced to eat some humble pie. Peace talks went through and remained effective afterwards, although it was clear that Kyuubi didn't like what had happened and was pissed that Konoha was calling the shots. It was after all of that when the Hyuga clan invited Harold back over. "You had done a great deal for Konoha as a whole," a Hyuga clan elder said to Harold, "but your actions had done a particularly great amount of work for the Hyuga clan specifically. Your gut feeling had not only helped to protect the secrets of the Byakugan, but it had also revealed and caught those who would steal said secrets." Shrugging, Harold replied, "Well, I just had a hunch upon seeing that Kyuubi group here in Konoha for peace talks and remembering that Kyuubi is one of the foreign bodies who wants your clan's magic eyes. Can you blame me for being at least a little suspicious that Kyuubi was pretending to act all buddy-buddy with Konoha because they wanted to pull a sneaky sneak and steal said magic eyes your clan has? Also, I still can't believe that there's an actual word to describe what Kyuubi was trying to pull." "You didn't know that perfidy is a word and that it described exactly what Kyuubi was trying to pull?" Hisashi asked. Either way, Harold had done a great service to the Hyuga clan, Hayashi said. He bowed in a very respectful manner to Harold. "You have my deepest, most sincere gratitude, Harold," Hayashi said. "The whole of the Hyuga clan feels that way," said the Hyuga elder who spoke up earlier, as he and a lot of the other Hyuga clan members also showed such respect to Harold. Watching this all unfold from a ways away while the adults talked was Hinata and Niji. Niji in particular was beyond shocked to see the adults all show such respect to someone outside of the Hyuga clan. He was shocked because among all of the Hyuga clan adults were all of those from the main household. Niji wasn't exactly thrilled with the main household of the Hyuga clan, given how they lord over the branch household of the Hyuga clan via the curse mark the main household puts on the branch household. But here, those stuck-up and haughty main household Hyuga are humbling themselves, and to someone who isn't even a Hyuga. How was this even possible? Niji had theorized that only the Hokage could command such a level of respect from the main household Hyuga. But here a standard jonin, one not even a member of any clan in Konoha, had all Hyuga clan adults bowing their heads to them. This man, Harold Fisher his name is, as Niji would later learn, has got to be one of the greats. Harold Fisher is a man who Niji will be wanting to keep an eye out for. Later, Harold was out drinking with some of the guys, including Inoichi and Sim. "So yeah, my gut feeling turned out to be valid," Harold said before drinking from the mug of beer he had. "You not only gave some jerks a big middle finger, but you had also saved one of Konoha's 4 great clans from suffering a terrible loss," Inoichi praised. "Hopefully your actions there won't come back to mess things up in any way," Sim said, with Kuramaru sitting on the floor next to where Sim sat in a chair. Shrugging, Harold said, "Oh, I doubt it." Harold took another swig from his mug of beer. "I think it's safe to say that there will be no serious consequences to me preventing Kyuubi from being able to sneak off with the Hyuga clan's magic eyes," Harold remarked, "and that this will be the last that we'll have to hear of the matter." Harold couldn't have been more wrong. Hinata Hyuga was being harassed by a trio of mean kids, mostly because they wanted to make fun of her eyes. However, their bullying of Hinata was cut short when a whole swarm of blonde kids who all looked completely identical jumped in and scared the bullies off with their vastly superior numbers. After the bullies had all run away, the blonde kids all poofed away save for one. "Are you okay?" the blonde kid asked Hinata. Hinata, surprised, looked away while blushing out of embarrassment. "Oh, I'll be fine," Hinata replied. Naruto was about to speak up, but a male voice called out, "Lady Hinata, there you are!" An adult member of the Hyuga clan, wearing a Konoha headband across his forehead, came running up to the scene. "Who's the boy here?" asked the Hyuga adult. "He saved me from some mean kids just now," Hinata explained, still blushing with a bit of embarrassment over a boy coming to her rescue. She also felt her heart racing a bit as she was thinking about the blonde boy who had saved her. At around that time, Sophia Fisher came jogging up to the scene. Oh, there you are, Naruto, Sophia said. Why did you run off? I heard a girl cry out in fright, so I ran to investigate, Naruto said. I saw a trio of bullies being mean to this nice girl here, so I chased the bullies off. Looking to Sophia, the Hyuga adult said, Oh, you're Harold Fisher's wife. We of the Hyuga clan still feel great gratitude towards your husband for how he had aided our clan a while ago. Looking to Naruto, the Hyuga adult asked, Is this boy here your child? Oh no, I'm the nanny hired to care for him while his dad's busy with work, Sophia explained. I was just coming to get Naruto and take him home. Oh yeah, Mrs. Fisher is a super sweet and nice lady, Naruto remarked before he held onto Sophia's hand and walked away with her, Sophia leading Naruto away. The Hyuga adult looked curious. I wasn't aware that Harold Fisher's wife was a nanny. I wonder who that boy's father is. Looking to Hinata, the Hyuga adult said, I'd best be getting you home as well, or your father will tan my hide. Okay, Hinata replied as she went back home to the Hyuga clan compound with the Hyuga adult. Hinata couldn't get Naruto out of her head. He came to her rescue, scared off those bullies, and brushed it off as simply wanting to do the right thing. He even had firm command over what looked like a very complicated-looking version of the basic clone jutsu. Naruto was brave, he was strong, he was confident. Hinata? Not so much. Hinata was a kind, gentle-hearted girl, and as such her father Hiashi wasn't entirely sure if she was fit to be his heir. She tried her hardest, but found herself unable to be serious in sparring against her little sister Hanabi. Not helping Hinata's nerves was the fact that she had Naruto on the brain. She not only wanted to be strong and confident like Naruto, she wanted to be with him. Was this what it felt like to be in love? But Hinata couldn't think of that business right now. She had to figure out how to prove herself to her father. She had to figure out how to overcome her nerves and stop holding back. As Hinata wandered around outside, she came across Some Inuzuka and her ninja dog Kuramaru. Some was carrying a white paper bag that had good smells coming from it, clearly some form of takeout. A Hyuga clan child, Kuramaru remarked as he and Some both ran into Hinata. What's wrong, kid? Some asked, you look down in the dumps. Hinata looked a bit unsure, but she sighed. I'm just nervous is all, Hinata began, not sure exactly why she was spilling how she felt to a random woman and said woman's dog. I'm trying to prove myself in training to my father, but I'm unable to work up the nerve to get serious against my younger sister during sparring. There's also how there's this boy, and I can't get him out of my head, and whenever I think of him my heart starts racing and my face gets all red. A mix of earning daddy's respect and having a crush, Some said. I can see why all of that would have your nerves shot up. Gesturing to herself, Some went on, if it's settling your nerves and getting calm enough to focus and be serious that you want, then allow me to offer a bit of advice, young lady. Perking up, Hinata asked, what is it? Some reached into her white paper bag, pulled out what looked like a pork bun, and offered it to Hinata. Have a little snack, Some offered. I find that whenever my nerves are acting up, eating a little snack helps to calm them back down. Oh, that makes sense, Hinata replied as she accepted the pork bun. Thank you for the pork bun, ma'am. It's actually a beef bun, Some said, same as a pork bun but beef is used instead. Pork is too rich a meat for dogs, it'll make them sick and throw up. And us in the Inuzuka clan don't want to make our ninja dogs sick. Some took out a second of what was revealed to actually be beef bun and tossed it to Kuramaru. The large ninja dog snapped it up with his powerful maw and ate it up almost instantly. Some and Kuramaru said goodbye to Hinata, with Some taking out a beef bun for herself and eating it as she and Kuramaru walked. Hinata turned to walk away, and as she did she ate the beef bun that Some gave her. It did taste good, and eating it did help Hinata to feel a little better. Maybe that nice lady and her big friendly talking dog had a good idea going. Eating a snack whenever Hinata felt her nerves acting up might help her calm back down and keep her head in the game. She intended to make the most of it, hoping it'll help her keep focused long enough to finally earn her dad's approval, as well as stay calm around Naruto. Later at the academy, Naruto was outside during a break period. He was hanging with some of the other boys, namely Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akimichi, and Kiba Inuzuka with his ninja dog Akamaru. Looking around, Naruto was trying to find someone, and Shikamaru was able to right away pick up on who it was. Forget it, Naruto, Shikamaru said. There's no way that she'll say yes. Not with a troublesome guy like Sasuke taking all the female attention. Well, I won't know for certain unless I try, Naruto replied while looking around for a bit. Then he stopped as he saw the girl he was looking for, Sakura Haruno. He jogged over to Sakura, who didn't even notice Naruto coming closer. Hey Sakura, Naruto began as he made his way over to the pink-haired girl. There he is. Sakura cut off, not even having noticed or heard Naruto, before shoving him to the side and running over to where a few other girls were already fawning over Sasuke. Naruto, getting up, wore a hurt look on his face. He didn't even get a chance to talk to Sakura, he wasn't even noticed by her, before she had shoved him off to the side to go fawn over Sasuke, much like literally every other girl at the academy. Naruto looked down, too hurt to think about all that much else. He was met up by the boys he was hanging out with. Akamaru, surprisingly, whined a bit in concern before walking up to Naruto and hopping up to place his front paws on Naruto's leg to hold his head up more, trying to sniff at Naruto. Seeing this, Naruto reached down and gently ruffled the top of Akamaru's head. "Yeah, you shouldn't bother with girls, period," Shikamaru spoke up, "they're nothing but trouble." "But what's life without a little trouble?" Choji asked. "There needs to be a little trouble in life, at least I think there's such a need, otherwise can life truly be worth living?" Looking to Naruto, Choji said, "Although I believe that it might be for the best for you to give up on Sakura, I don't think that you shouldn't give up on girls entirely. I'm certain that there's a nicer girl out there." "Actually, I did notice one girl who's constantly looking at Naruto," Kiba remarked, "but I think she's one of those weird loner-type girls who's all shy and stuff. But I have noticed the look on her face when she looks at Naruto. She looks at him the way the other girls at the academy all look at Sasuke." That caught Naruto's attention. "Really?" Naruto asked. "Who?" Naruto supposed that, if Sakura truly was an impossible goal for him, then he should give up on her and try going after another girl. And if what Kiba said is true, then there is a girl at the academy who looks at Naruto the way the other girls look at Sasuke. A girl who looks at Naruto the way Sakura looks at Sasuke. Naruto would like to meet this girl. Later, the boys in Naruto's class were in a separate lesson. A special holiday in which boys honored their moms was coming up in Konoha, so the boys in Naruto's class were being led by their sensei, Iruka, in a special event. "Basically, boys," Iruka began, "you all are going to vote for the best overall mom that you all amongst you have." "Pfft, it ain't gonna be my mom, that's for sure," Shikamaru scoffed, "she is one mean and scary lady." "I kind of have trouble with the idea of nominating my mom for that title as well," Kiba began. "Now don't get me wrong, she ain't scary like Mrs. Nara, but my mom is Crazy?" Choji half-guessed half-offered. Pointing his finger commendingly at Choji, Kiba said, "Yeah, that's it." "Well, one rule for this event is that you can't nominate your own mom," Iruka said, a bit surprised that some of the boys have such low opinions of their own mothers. "You have to nominate the mom of one of your peers." "So I can't nominate my mom?" Sasuke asked as he raised a hand. Nodding once in the affirmative, Iruka replied, "Yes, Sasuke, exactly." Sasuke looked down for a moment, looking like he was thinking about something. After a few moments, Sasuke looked up and said, "Then I'd like to nominate Mrs. Akimichi." "Choji's mom?" questioned Shino Aburame. A lot of the boys in class were surprised, especially Choji himself. Nodding once in the affirmative, Sasuke said, "Well, she's a very nice lady. She's kind, warm, welcoming, nothing mean or scary about her." "Choji's mom also lacks the crazy that my mom has," Kiba added. Nodding once in agreement, Sasuke went on, "Basically, Choji's mom has a lot of the same nice mom traits that my mom has. As such, I'm nominating Choji's mom." Say what you want about Sasuke unintentionally hogging the attention of the girls at the academy from the other boys, he is still a well-meaning and kind-hearted boy. Choji smirked in sincere amusement. "Thanks, Sasuke," Choji said. Iruka also smiled warmly. "Now that is a good way to put it, Sasuke," Iruka said, but he stopped short when he saw Naruto raise a hand. "Yes, Naruto?" Iruka asked. Lowering his hand, Naruto looked a bit nervous. Naruto said, "Can I nominate a lady who isn't anyone's mom, at least as far as I'm aware?" "Who do you have in mind?" Iruka asked. "Mrs. Fisher," Naruto began. "She's the lady my dad hired to look after me while he's busy with work. You said we couldn't nominate our own moms, and technically Mrs. Fisher isn't my mom. But she does care for me all the same. Also, she has a lot of the same nice mom traits that Sasuke says his mom and Choji's mom both have." Iruka was secretly aware of Naruto's situation, given that Iruka has to report to Lord Fourth, who he knows is Naruto's dad. And Iruka thought it was sweet that Naruto wanted to have some light shown on a lady who may very rarely ever get such spotlight. "Well, I did say you can't nominate your own mom, and Sophia Fisher technically isn't your mom," Iruka said. "Alright, we'll throw her onto the list too." Eventually, the vote was held about which mom, or mom-like lady, was the best, and it ended in a tie between Sophia Fisher and Mrs. Akimichi. When the rest of Naruto's year saw the results, the girls were all surprised. "Wait a minute," Ino Yamanaka began as she spoke with some of the other girls. "That super chunky, super fatty lady tied for first?" And what's my Aunt Sophia doing up there? Sakura asked. Aunt Sophia and Uncle Harold don't have any kids, I don't have any cousins. Sakura, determined as if on a mission, marched up to one of the boys and got his attention. The first boy she found was Shino. Hey, would you know how it was that my Aunt Sophia was nominated and voted on by you boys? Sakura said. Oh, Naruto nominated her, Shino began. Apparently he knows her. What? Sakura nearly screamed. You mean that quiet weirdo? What's he doing knowing my Aunt Sophia? Shrugging, Shino replied, I don't want to get into it. Shino then turned around and walked away. Sakura was beyond pissed. What's a weirdo like Naruto doing messing with Sakura's family? She wanted answers and would be getting them. Later, Naruto was hanging out, talking with Shikamaru, Choji, and Kiba when the boys all heard the angry call of, Naruto. The boys all turned to look and saw Sakura come marching on up to them, with Ino tailing behind. Acting on instinct, Choji and Kiba moved to stand between Naruto and Sakura, while Shikamaru, seeing that trouble was coming, tried standing off to the side. Out of the way, boys, Sakura snarled, Naruto has some explaining to do. Not while you're clearly riled up, Choji said, firm in the face of Sakura's anger. Now explain yourself. What exactly did Naruto do wrong? He's harassing my Aunt Sophia, that's what he's doing wrong. Sakura spat while pointing an accusing finger at Naruto. Looking surprised, Naruto said, Mrs. Fisher is your aunt? Don't play dumb, you creep. Sakura barked, you knew the whole time. So what's your end game, huh? What weird creepy thoughts do you have, Abio? What's going on over here? Iruka's voice cut in, making the kids all turn to see Iruka come storming on up. This creep is harassing my Aunt Sophia, that's what's going on, Iruka-sensei, Sakura said while pointing at Naruto. Arching a wry eyebrow in confusion, Iruka said, what do you mean? Naruto has not once been a bother to your aunt. Then how come he not only knows her, but knows her well enough to nominate her for that Best Mom contest? Sakura demanded. Iruka could see where a lot of confusion was happening. I think that a bit of a parent-teacher conference is in order, Iruka remarked. Later, Iruka had Naruto and Sakura sitting in an office, each of them in their own chair while Iruka sat at the teacher desk in the room. After a few moments, the door to the room opened, and in walked Sakura's parents, Mom Mabuki and Dad Kizashi. Following in after Mabuki and Kizashi were Harold Fisher and his wife Sophia. Oh, sup lil dude, Harold greeted as he waved at Naruto. What's the beef with Lil Cherry Bug there? Mr. and Mrs. Haruno, as well as Mr. and Mrs. Fisher, Iruka began. Sakura had started an altercation with Naruto earlier when she accused him of harassing her aunt. Naruto has never harassed me, Sophia said. Why, as a matter of fact, he's one of the sweetest kids that I know of. Then how is it that you know him, Aunt Sophia? Sakura asked, as well as why he knows you well enough to nominate you for some Best Mom contest that the boys in class had to do? It's weird and creepy that some weird quiet kid knows my family so closely. Oh snap, I think we should have told Sakura so that there wouldn't have been any confusion, Harold remarked. Looking curious, Sakura said, tell me what? Looking to his daughter, Kizashi said, Sakura, sweetie, your Aunt Sophia was hired by Naruto's dad to look after Naruto. Naruto's dad is a busy and important man, so he can't exactly afford to focus too much on Naruto at the moment. Wait, I thought that Naruto was an orphan, Sakura said, but he actually has a dad? But if so, who can Naruto's dad? Creak. I'm looking for Iruka, Minato spoke up as he entered the room. I wanted to ask him if the report about how things at the academy are going is Looking around, Minato said, I didn't walk in on anything important, did I? Lord Fourth. Kizashi exclaimed, clearly surprised to see the Hokage here, same as Mabuki and Sakura. Our daughter had started some trouble with Naruto here. There's nothing to worry about, Kizashi assured Minato. Arching a wry eyebrow, Minato asked, what exactly did your daughter do to my son? Naruto is your son? Sakura exclaimed. Sakura was not expecting Naruto, the weird shy quiet boy who gets surprisingly good grades in all of his subjects at the academy, to be the son of the fourth Hokage. She's actually rather surprised that this info isn't widely known. As a matter of fact, Sakura had to ask that. Wait, how come you being Naruto's dad isn't widely known? Asked Sakura as she looked up at Minato. Safety reasons and the like, Minato replied. It's also why Naruto is using the Uzumaki name, as opposed to my last name of Namikaze. Uzumaki is the maiden name of Naruto's late mom. Oh, as a side note, I'd really like it if you kept everything you heard and learned here a secret. Sakura, keep everything you've learned and heard here a secret. That's an order, Mabuki said to her daughter in a firm tone. Sakura nodded obediently. Well, ninjas are supposed to be good at keeping secrets. It's part of the job, Sakura replied, right? Nodding once, Minato said, yes, that's a good way to see it. So Naruto's mom is gone, Sakura said, looking and sounding guilty, and that's why Aunt Sophia is taking care of him. Sakura had thought Naruto to be a creepy weirdo trying to inch in on her family, but now she knows that the reason her aunt is caring for him is because his real mom had died, and his dad, who is the Hokage, is clearly a very busy man, thus he does not have a whole lot of time for Naruto. That probably makes Naruto feel kinda lonely. One parent dead and the other constantly busy with work, no wonder Naruto had latched onto Aunt Sophia so much. Sakura felt rather bad now, realizing that she had been hasty and mean to Naruto over nothing. The adults could all see that Sakura was now regretting her actions. Stepping forward, Minato said, I guess you feel bad about how you jumped on accusing Naruto without looking into things, huh? I just thought he was bothering my family, Sakura said. I had no idea what things were like for him. Looking to Minato, Sakura asked, you still see Naruto regularly, right? Of course I do, I'm not at the office all day, Minato replied. And you make sure that Naruto knows that you love him, right? Sakura asked. Of course, Minato replied, why wouldn't I? You're his dad, Sakura said, you need to be there with Naruto as much as you can. I know that I would be really upset if my dad wasn't there with me as much as possible. Minato, looking a bit surprised, chuckled a bit after settling back down. Wiser words haven't been spoken, Minato replied, and you do have a point on how I have a need to make sure that I make as much time as possible for Naruto. Minato looked to Kizashi and Mabuki. Your child is a lot more empathic and caring than some other persons I know, but they shall go unnamed for the time being, Minato said. You two have raised a good child. Oh, thank you, Lord Fourth, Mabuki said as she and Kizashi bowed their heads to Minato. Things were eventually settled, and Sakura properly apologized to Naruto. Iruka, for his part, was glad to see that the matter had been settled. He didn't want any more trouble at the academy, at least if he could help it. Sometime later, Sim was out and about walking Kuramaru. She let Kuramaru go on ahead while she bought some teriyaki kebabs. All of the meat in the kebabs was beef, so it was safe for consumption by canines, and she had just gotten the kebabs for herself and Kuramaru when the talking ninja dog himself came trotting back over, a cautious and mildly confused look on his face. Ah, Sim, Kuramaru began, getting Sim's attention. Relax, you'll get your kebab soon enough, Sim replied. I hope that you like teriyaki. That's not what I was going to ask about, Kuramaru remarked. Sim arched a wry eyebrow out of curiosity. Then what is it? Sim asked. Do you remember that Hyuga girl that we had talked to a while ago? Kuramaru began, the shy, nervous one fretting over trying to earn her father's approval, as well as worrying over a boy that she has a crush on. Sim had no idea where this was going. She remembered the girl that Kuramaru was talking about, but she had no idea why Kuramaru was bringing her up now of all times. Yeah, I actually do remember that girl, Sim said. I told her that she could settle her nerves if she had herself a bit of a snack, like when I do when I'm in such a fretting mood. What's your point? Now, don't get me wrong, Kuramaru went on. I know that you had honestly meant well when you gave that advice, and that you were also acting wholly in good faith. Still confused, Sim said. Your point? I had just seen that your advice, Kuramaru remarked, though honestly well-meaning and given wholly in good faith, ended up having some unintended consequences. Unintended what now? Sim replied. Kuramaru led Sim over to a fenced-in public park where a bunch of kids from the academy were playing around. It was a day off for them. Kuramaru pointed Hinata out to Sim, and upon seeing Hinata, Sim could tell that the girl obviously had some rather bad issues with nerves and that she had tried to solve said issues solely with the advice Sim had given her. Hinata had a notably round and soft-looking face, her arms and legs looked plump and jiggly, and she had quite the belly. Sim only saw the front of Hinata, but she was willing to bet that the Hyuga girl had a seat comparable to the rest of her. All of this, however, leads to one rather undeniable and rather surprising development that neither Sim nor Kuramaru could possibly have seen coming. Hinata is now rather fat. Sucking in a cringing breath, Sim said, I guess that the girl must have had more issues with nerves than I could have guessed. Sim took another look at where Hinata stood before turning to look back at Kuramaru. A casual glance suggests that the girl weighs double what Chose's son Choji weighs, Sim remarked. I did not mean for this to happen. I know, Sim, Kuramaru replied. You were honestly just trying to help the poor girl with some well-meaning advice to help her with settling her nerves and remaining calm. It's just that the girl must have had a lot more issues with nerves than either of us could have anticipated. Sim and Kuramaru turned to look back at the park, and they saw Hinata cheer as Naruto scored a point in some sports game that the boys were playing. The boys took a break from the game, and Naruto went to where he had his bag, picked it up, and walked over to Hinata. Sim and Kuramaru couldn't make out what Naruto said, but they did see him pull a wrapped snack cake out and offer it to Hinata. Given the way they saw Hinata blush and smile, Sim and Kuramaru figured it that Naruto is the boy who Hinata has a crush on. To Naruto's credit, he's being kindly towards Hinata, showing no hint of being bothered by how she's notably chunky. Well, good on Lord Forth's kid, being nice to that Hyuga girl, Sim remarked. You know, we probably ought to do something, Kuramaru said. Looking confused, Sim replied, what do you mean? Gesturing with his head, Kuramaru went on, we ought to do something to deal with how that girl had gained a lot of weight due to her taking your advice way too far. Dismissively waving a hand, Sim said, pfft, so the girl is chunky? Big whoop. Choja's son is chunky, but there's no issue there. Choji is a member of the Akimichi clan, Kuramaru pointed out, he kind of has to be plus-sized. Oh relax, Kuramaru, Sim said, this is just a kid thing, I'm sure of it. Arching a wry eyebrow with the only eye not covered, Kuramaru asked, are you sure? Nodding once in the affirmative, Sim said, I'm sure. Trust me when I say that this little development here isn't going to have any sort of impact on things here in Konoha as they go on. Sim couldn't have been more wrong. Minato was in his office at the Hokage office building, handling some light morning paperwork, when the door to his office was opened. Looking up, Minato saw a lady working at the office building lead in Fugaku Uchiha. Lord Forth, the secretary began, Fugaku Uchiha would like a moment of your time. I was actually thinking of calling for Fugaku anyway, Minato replied. Gesturing to some of the paperwork he had on his desk, Minato went on, some of the paperwork here concerns the Konoha police force. And that's why I'm here wanting to speak with you, Fugaku began. Look, as great as the Uchiha clan is, even we on our own can only handle so much. We're short on manpower in the Konoha police force, and unfortunately not a lot of others outside of the Uchiha clan want to join up. We still have some stigma against us, no thanks to that old warhawk Danzo. Minato nodded in understanding. Yeah, the paperwork I have here on the Konoha police force does mention how the police is showing signs of being slow to response, Minato said, but your complaint of having a lack of manpower in the police force may be the reason why. You guys are being stretched too thin, and in addition to the police force you also still have your own clan to worry about. The Uchiha clan has a lot on its plate, perhaps too much. Fugaku's serious frown morphed into a relieved smile. Finally, someone who understands that the Uchiha clan has too much on their hands, Fugaku remarked. Looking to Fugaku, Minato said, I also got a report saying that the Konoha police force has failed multiple times to uncover illegal narcotics. Well, we don't have drug-sniffing dogs, Fugaku said. If we did, then we'd be able to catch all of that stuff. Fugaku paused to snap his fingers like that. So in addition to needing more manpower, Minato began, the Konoha police force also needs drug-sniffing dogs. Those may take time to train, which might. Yo, Lord Forth. Sim's voice cut in, making Minato, Fugaku, and the secretary all turn to see Sim walk in with Kuramaru. The Inuzuka clan has had it up to here with the elders in the main household of the Hyuga clan lording over us, Sim said, keeping us under their thumbs just because the Inuzuka clan owes the Hyuga clan a royal fuckton of cash. We're unable to earn what we need to pay the debt off, especially due to that pissant interest clause that's in the words of the loan agreement. It's like the Hyuga clan wants to keep the Inuzuka clan on a tight leash and never let go. Fuck. Excuse me? Minato said, looking confused. Yes, there's some degree of tension between the Hyuga and Inuzuka clans, Fugaku said, all related to how the Inuzuka are in debt to the Hyuga. Holding a hand to his chin, Fugaku said, which is weird. I mean, the Inuzuka clan, in terms of sheer headcount, is the largest clan in Konoha, having 50% more members than the next leading clan. And that's only if the human members of the Inuzuka clan are taken into account. Gently shaking his head, Fugaku went on, the numbers that the Inuzuka clan would bring to the table would skyrocket if their ninja dogs are also taken into account in the Inuzuka clan's headcount. You'd figure that they would be able to pay off the debt with all of the manpower that they have access to. Minato, having heard all of that, looked like he just had an idea. Fugaku, Minato began, I have a proposal that would solve not just the problems that the Uchiha clan has on their plates right now, but also the problems that the Inuzuka clan is currently dealing with. Both Fugaku and Sim looked curiously at Minato, wondering what in blazes it is that the fourth Hokage is cooking up right now. Minato's idea turned out to be rather simple. The Konoha police, which consisted mainly of just Uchiha clan ninja, would have the Inuzuka clan integrated into it as well. Instead of all of that police work burden being laid on the shoulders of just one clan, the burden would be shared. It would be made easier by having two clans work it all at once. The Konoha police force would see a serious boost in manpower, given that the Inuzuka clan has more ninja than any other Konoha clan, and that's just if the human members of the Inuzuka clan were taken into account. The numerous ninja dogs owned by the Inuzuka clan would make their head count skyrocket if they are also taken into account. Those very same ninja dogs are yet another reason why integrating the Inuzuka clan into a venture once solely the hat of the Uchiha was such a boon. The Uchiha clan were also in a bit of a scramble trying to get a hold of ninja dogs to train and then use as drug-sniffing dogs to help supplement the effectiveness of the Konoha police force. The Inuzuka clan has at least one ninja dog per ninja, as their clan techniques revolved around joint attacks carried out with the aid of a ninja dog partner. Some Inuzuka clan ninja even had more than one ninja dog. Tsum's daughter Hana, about as old as Fugaku's son Itachi, actually owned 3 ninja dogs. The Uchiha clan won't be wanting for quality canines. What ended up being especially fortuitous for the Uchiha clan was the fact that some of the Inuzuka clan ninja dogs already had drug-sniffing training. The ninja dogs already with drug-sniffing training actually exceeded the minimum base number the Uchiha clan needed to have ready, so they were able to integrate drug-sniffing dogs into the police force right away. As for the Inuzuka clan benefiting from this deal, they got an additional source of income, which will allow them to finally escape debt. The Inuzuka clan's debt to the Hyuga clan was actually bought by a joint team of the Uchiha clan and the office of the Hokage, and the debt was kept at a flat amount with no tricky interest business to speak of. This integrating of the Inuzuka clan into the Konoha police force had the dual benefit of not only earning the office of the Hokage further gratitude from the Uchiha clan, but the gratitude and respect of the Inuzuka clan. Fugaku and Sim were among the many Konoha shinobi who saw Minato as a man that they would follow to hell and back. Minato had a feeling that he'll be needing all of the support that he could get in the future. Later on at the academy, Sasuke was in a pretty good mood. After all, there was a girl who was attending the academy who actually caught his eye. A cute, kind girl who had in her many of the traits that Sasuke felt made her well, a great girl. He intended to talk to her, tell her how he felt about her, then asked her if she would like to go out with him. Eventually, Sasuke found the girl in question, although he saw her from behind while she was talking to Kiba Inuzuka, with his ninja dog Akamaru standing next to him. Sasuke approached, arriving just in time to hear Kiba say to the girl, "So yeah, I'm sorry that my mom had taunted your grandpa a little bit after my clan had escaped being in debt to your clan." "Oh, my father was rather unamused with how the elders of our clan were trying to keep your clan in debt to us," the girl replied. Excuse me," Sasuke spoke up. Kiba perked up, as did the girl he was talking to. She turned around, and showed herself to be Hinata Hyuga. "Oh, you're that Sasuke guy," Kiba began. "Is there something either of us can help you with?" Hinata asked, looking curious. Sasuke cleared his throat before speaking. Hinata, right?" Sasuke began. "Listen, well, that is to say, As Sasuke fumbled, Kiba, a dawning look of realization on his face, couldn't help but crack an amused smirk. "Oh, don't tell me that you're trying to confess to Hinata," Kiba said, looking like he was trying to contain some laughter. Unable to hide his blushing, Sasuke said, yes. Hinata was surprised, but she was able to regather herself. "Oh, that's very flattering, Sasuke," Hinata replied, honest. "But I already have another boy who I'm in love with. And he's actually showing that he likes me in return. I'm really sorry." Sasuke, though feeling crushed, nodded once and accepted the response. "He must be one stand-up guy," Sasuke remarked. "It's Naruto," Kiba spoke up. Sasuke knew who Naruto was. Although Naruto was a quiet and reserved boy who was kind and regularly showed politeness, all of that belied how Naruto was sharp as a kunai at studies, as well as how he already had a number of jutsus down pat. Naruto was also the only person who had been able to beat Sasuke at sparring. Their record against one another was about even. Even though Sasuke failed to get Hinata, in a way he still felt satisfied. After all, he saw Hinata as a top-quality girl, and as such she deserved the best. If it wasn't Sasuke, then it was going to have to be Naruto. Sasuke saw no other student in his year at his own level aside from Naruto. The perfect person to measure himself against, Naruto kept Sasuke sharp as Sasuke wanted to be the best. To Hinata, Sasuke said, "Yeah, Naruto is a great guy. I bet you'll like being with him." Hinata nodded once and thanks to Sasuke. "Thanks," Hinata replied. "You know, Sasuke, it's quite obvious that a lot of other girls here at the academy like you. I bet you'll have no trouble getting one of them to want to go out with you." Sasuke nodded in acknowledgement, thanking Hinata for the vote of confidence. But there was no other girl at the academy like Hinata. She was kind, gentle, warm, welcoming. All of the other girls at the academy were more sharp, competitive. They fought argumentatively amongst one another. Not exactly appealing to a boy of Sasuke's age. There was no other girl at the academy like Hinata. Ino Yamanaka couldn't believe it. she while secretly spying on the talk that Sasuke-kun was having with that doggy smell boy and shy fatty girl had heard Sasuke-kun confess to the fatty. Sasuke-kun had finally, at long last, confessed to a girl at the academy. Ino in a way felt relieved, even though it wasn't her who Sasuke-kun had confessed to, she felt that she'd be relieved when he finally confessed to a girl. But Sasuke-kun had confessed to the fatty of all girls. Ino did not know how to process this new information. Sasuke-kun could literally have any girl at the academy he wanted, Ino herself included. And out of all of the possible options, he went with the girl who looks to weigh double what Choji weighs. Ino was so surprised by what she had borne witness to, she failed to notice it when she bumped into two other students. Luckily, it was just Shikamaru and Choji. She knew the both of them as her dad Inoichi wants her to get along with them, due to long-standing traditions that the Yamanaka clan has with the Nara and Akimichi clans, traditions dating back to well over 10 generations. Ino didn't know the exact number off the top of her head, but she was aware that it was more than 10 generations into the past that their clans became friends. "Hey, watch it," Shikamaru said. "Sorry, I'm just in a bit of a daze," Ino replied. "I was secretly watching it as Sasuke-kun had confessed to another girl." "So he didn't confess to you," Shikamaru said, having little patience for the games of the heart that girls there at the academy like to play, tough. Gently shaking her head, Ino said, "That's not the reason why my mind is having trouble processing things at the moment." "Well, it's not the main reason, but that's besides the point." "Let me guess," Choji began. "Sasuke confessed to Sakura. I know that the two of you were both fiercely competing with one another to win over Sasuke's affections." Gently shaking her head in the negative, Ino replied, "No, Sasuke-kun didn't confess to Sakura. He confessed to Hinata." That managed to pique Shikamaru's interest. "Hinata, huh?" Shikamaru said, "Why is that a surprise to you?" "Have you seen Hinata?" Ino began. "She's a total fatty. Even Choji here ain't as big as her. And yet Hinata is the girl that Sasuke-kun confessed to. How does that make sense? Girls have to be thin to count as pretty." "First off, you're lucky I'm not going off on you for the comment on my weight," Choji began. "Second, girls don't have to be beanpoles to get guys to like them. A girl with extra padding is just as viable of an option for a boy to like as a girl who matches up with your shallow standards of what counts as pretty." Shikamaru, a really quick thought forming in his head, smirked a bit, even though Ino in her freaking out over Sasuke's choice failed to notice the hint of mischief in Shikamaru's smirk. "You know, Ino," Shikamaru began, "when us boys had to do that event for the mom holiday where we voted on who's the best mom, it was Sasuke who had nominated Mrs. Akimichi." That caught Ino's attention. "Really?" Ino asked, surprised to hear that it was Sasuke who had nominated Choji's mom. Ino had seen Mrs. Akimichi a few times, and there was no denying that Mrs. Akimichi was a rather plus-sized lady. "Oh yeah, it was Sasuke who nominated my mom," Choji said. "He also said a lot of nice things about her as well. Sasuke even mentioned that he thinks Mrs. Akimichi is a really pretty lady," Shikamaru said. "What?" Choji said. "Since when?" Choji was cut off by an elbow jab from Shikamaru. "You'll have to forgive Choji, he's still a little bit embarrassed that Sasuke had said that his mom is a really pretty lady," Shikamaru went on. Choji was able to tell that Shikamaru was lying to Ino, but he wanted him to go along with it for some odd reason. "Yeah, never thought I'd hear Sasuke of all boys say my mom is pretty," Choji said, wondering where Shikamaru was going with this. Ino was shocked. Sasuke-kun, the boy all of the girls at the academy liked, not only confessed to Hinata who was rather chunky, but also remarked positively about Mrs. Akimichi who has a lot of extra padding. So he actually said that, Ino said? "Yeah, he did," Shikamaru said, "which ought to be a sign that you don't have to follow whatever conventional standards say boys will like in girls, because not all boys have the same opinions." Ino silently nodded once before taking off. After Ino was gone, Choji whispered to Shikamaru, "Why did we lie to her?" "To get her to stop being so shallow," Shikamaru replied flatly. "I'm tired of her always harping on about appearances when the three of us are forced to get together. Besides, you said that you don't like her harping on you over your weight, right? This ought to get Ino off of your back." Choji considered Shikamaru's words for a moment before he ultimately agreed with Shikamaru. "Heh, that's a valid point," Choji said. "You've got to be some sort of genius, Shikamaru." "Nah, I'd rather not be a genius," Shikamaru said. "It sounds like it'd be such a drag." Later, Sakura was walking along when she came across Ino sitting on a bench under the shade of a tree. To Sakura's mildly piqued interest, Ino had a lot of snacks with her, and she was going to town on them, scarfing them all down. Walking up, Sakura got Ino's attention. What are you doing, Ino?" Sakura asked. "What's it look like?" Ino replied, "I'm eating." Arching a wry eyebrow, Sakura remarked, "If you eat a lot like that, you'll get chubby. You'll be even more of a pig than you already are." "Zip it, billboard brow," Ino replied, "and that's the point of why I'm eating here." Sakura looked surprised. "You're trying to get chubby?" Sakura asked. "Why?" Letting out a sigh, Ino said, "You're far from the first girl here at the academy that I have had to explain this to. You may not believe me at first, but you'll have to bear with me." "Go on," Sakura said, a suspicious, monotone look on her face. "Why are you stuffing yourself?" "I have full reason to believe," Ino began, "that Sasuke-kun, believe it or not, likes bigger girls." "What?" Sakura's response was so flat, it didn't even sound like a question. Seriously, Ino went on, "First off, Sasuke-kun had finally confessed to a girl earlier, and it ended up being Hinata of all girls. She ended up turning him down, which is also a shocker, but still." "Hinata?" Sakura questioned. Sakura is aware enough of Hinata to know she's a nice girl. Also, Sakura knows that Hinata has feelings for Naruto, and Naruto has started to show feelings for Hinata in turn. Sakura also couldn't deny that Hinata was well fed. And now Sakura was being told that Sasuke, the boy who all other girls at the academy liked, had confessed to Hinata. Gently shaking her head, Sakura said, "I'm okay. But how is?" "That's not all," Ino went on. "Remember that event that the boys had to do for the Konoha holiday where they voted on who's the best mom? Sasuke-kun was the one who had nominated Mrs. Akimichi. I had also heard that Sasuke-kun had said that Mrs. Akimichi is a pretty lady." Sakura was even more surprised. She had seen Choji's mom once, and never before or since had Sakura seen a woman with so much extra padding. Sakura said, "Sasuke-kun said that Mrs. Akimichi is a pretty lady." "Hinata is a bigger girl," Ino said. "Mrs. Akimichi is a bigger lady." Sasuke-kun showed interest in the former, and called the latter a pretty lady. "What more evidence do we need?" Sasuke-kun, as shocking as it may be to realize, likes girls who are chubby. The evidence did make sense. Sakura was rather surprised to learn that Sasuke had a type, and it was bigger girls. Sakura did not know what to make of that. But there was one thing that she did know, however. "I need to go get something to eat," Sakura said as she tried to excuse herself. "I'm suddenly feeling rather hungry." Glaring at Sakura, Ino said, "I'll still be the first to get Sasuke-kun." "Good luck with that," Sakura said challengingly before turning around and taking off. Sometime a long time later, it was late afternoon when Minato, accompanied by Shikaku Nara and a few other notable jonin of Konoha, were walking back to the village, having returned from a meeting in another land to discuss a possible peace treaty with said land. "I think that those talks went smoother than expected," Shikaku remarked. "You really think so?" Minato asked. Before Shikaku could speak up again, he was cut off when the voice of Inoichi called out, "Oi, Lord Fourth!" "Shikaku!" The ninja all turned to see Inoichi come jogging up to them, actually going through the front gates into the village proper for Konoha to meet Minato and company outside of the village. Shikaku saw the urgency in Inoichi's movements, heard the urgency in Inoichi's tone, could see the urgency in Inoichi's expression. "What's wrong, Inoichi?" Shikaku said. "What happened?" Something that I'm pretty sure that Lord Fourth ain't gonna like," Inoichi replied. Minato was already on alert. "What happened?" Minato asked. "Yes or no," Inoichi began. "Did you approve of the sequestering of the whole of the Uchiha clan into a remote far corner of the village?" "What?" Minato exclaimed. Whose bright idea was that? How could Lord Third permit that while I was out? While Minato was out of the village, Hiruzen was serving as the substitute Hokage, given he was the best option for the role. But then again, he had actually served that role full-time before stepping down and stepping into retirement. So you did not approve of that," Inoichi replied. "Hell no, I would never approve of that," Minato said. "Now who's the idiot who's trying to keep the Uchiha clan sequestered off and socially isolated like that?" After a thorough investigation, Minato learned that the order for the relocation of the Uchiha clan in Konoha not only came straight from Danzo directly, he also oversaw the move personally. This had raised the discontent that the Uchiha clan felt towards the government of Konoha. And it wasn't just the Uchiha clan who were pissed off. The Inuzuka clan also got pissed off by the move, as they're developing a close relationship with the Uchiha clan, partly due to how the two clans now effectively share the Konoha police force. Additionally, when the report on Minato's investigation went out, a lot of the current discontent in Konoha was aimed at the village elders, Danzo in particular. Minato, with Inoichi and Shikaku both accompanying him, personally visited the Uchiha clan at their new clan compound, the old one having already been used for other things and couldn't be changed back. Minato had personally apologized to a selection of the Uchiha clan's top names, including Fugaku, saying that the relocation of the Uchiha clan was not at all approved of by Konoha's government. Well, it was approved of by at least part of Konoha's government, Fugaku said. The village elders still hold positions of power and authority within the village. Enough so that Danzo was able to order, and have carried out, the relocation of the Uchiha clan within the village. Minato could hear the hurt in Fugaku's tone. Fugaku was feeling hurt by what he saw as Konoha trying to cage up the Uchiha clan. It was the village betraying one of its most prestigious clans. Minato could see Fugaku feeling that way. He couldn't blame the man for feeling hurt, especially after what all the Uchiha clan had suffered due to the government of Konoha. A government that was partly controlled by a trio of elders who were still in power in the village, have been ever since the reign of the previous Hokage. Minato could tell that there was a need for change in Konoha. It needed to get with the times. And the elders, all of them not only out of touch with the times but also showing signs of no change and at worst even refusing to change, were not good for Konoha's continued progress and growth. Well, you aren't the only one who isn't amused with the elders, Minato said. Their approval ratings have been dropping over the years. I've been meaning to dismiss them for quite some time now and get a new trio of advisors who are more in touch with how Konoha is today, so that Konoha isn't held back by outdated and old-fashioned views. However, I haven't had the time nor have I found suitable replacements for the elders. Minato then gently shook his head. But this latest brazen act of Danzo's proves that Konoha can't wait for the necessary change, Minato went on. Although this latest offense is mostly on Danzo, the other two elders are just as bad. They're out of touch with how things are nowadays, they're bogged down by prejudice and old-fashioned views. After all, what happened to you and your clan wouldn't have happened under fresher, more understanding and tolerant leadership. Fugaku nodded in agreement with Minato. The trio of elders, Danzo in particular, may not have a care in the world for the Uchiha clan, but the actual head of Konoha, the Hokage, did show care. You really are a great Hokage, Minato, Fugaku said. Really, the only thing bad about your rule is that you still have the elders kept on as your trio of advisors. And I'm going to be dismissing them first thing in the morning, Minato said. Looking for new advisors will be tough, but I'll make it work. Minato turned to look to Inoichi, who stood with Shikaku. Thanks again for informing me of what happened, Inoichi, Minato said. I probably wouldn't have heard of this until a lot later were it not for you. Yeah, I never trusted that war hawk of a man Danzo, Inoichi said, what with the hate boner he's got for the Uchiha clan. Konoha really has to step up its game to make it up to the Uchiha clan for how they've been screwed over. Shikaku smirked in amusement. Wiser words haven't been spoken, Shikaku said. You ought to be proud of yourself, Inoichi. You had helped to remedy a great injustice here in Konoha. Oh, it's no big deal, Inoichi replied. I was just doing what any person who cares about the village would have done. No, it's a pretty big deal, Minato said. Who knows how badly things could have gone had you not told me immediately about what had been done to the Uchiha? Relax, Lord Fourth, Inoichi said. I'm certain that I hadn't done anything all that big of a deal, and that nothing serious would have changed because of my actions here. Inoichi couldn't have been more wrong. The morning following what had become known in Konoha as Uchiha Gate, a scandal in which the Uchiha clan was royally screwed over by the village elders, Minato had met with a selection of many of Konoha's most prominent Jonin-ranked ninja. Sitting next to Minato was Hiruzen, who to his credit looked guilty, like a man who knew full well actions that were his fault were why the meeting here was even happening in the first place. As many of you may have already heard, Minato began, the Uchiha clan had been forcefully relocated to a remote far corner of the village, as per the word of Danzo Shimura. Bear in mind that this action was not approved of by me, and that if it was proposed while I was in Konoha, I would have shut it down immediately. Yeah, what's with the distrust aimed at the Uchiha? Asked Shibi Aburaim. Their only major fault within recent memory is how they did nothing to help fend off the attack of the Nine-Tails a couple of years back, and it's been confirmed that the reason they were a no-show is because they had been ordered by the elders to focus solely on evac and escort duty to keep civilians away from the fighting. The only blight of mistrust aimed at the Uchiha, remarked Chozo Akimichi, and it had been essentially manufactured by the elders. It's as if they're trying to set the Uchiha clan up for a very big downfall, or something. There was a chorus of talking amongst the gathered Jonin, showing that a lot of them were not amused at all with the actions of the elders. I would like to take a moment to apologize to not just the Uchiha clan, but to Konoha as a whole, Hiruzen spoke up. It's my fault for failing to do more to convince Danzo and the others to have more open minds, to change their thinking to keep up with the change in times. It's obvious that the elders refused to change their way of thinking, change their ways in general, Shikaku remarked, and a lot of bad policies in Konoha over time can be traced back to choices that they had made. Not just against the Uchiha, but against Konoha as a whole. Was it not one of the elders, began Choza, who, back when Kumo tried carrying out that act of perfidy in order to steal from the Hyuga clan, immediately suggested sacrificing a member of the Hyuga clan in order to appease Kumo when they had first threatened war against Konoha over being embarrassed to have been caught red-handed? Thank goodness that Suna and Iwa had both threatened war against Kumo if Kumo tried to push through with their threats against Konoha, Shibi remarked. It helped to get things back on track in Konoha's favor. Another chorus of talking came up from the gathered jonin, showing that all of them were all still in agreement over how they were not big fans of the elders. We need folks who we can trust to help Lord Fourth have the best interests of Konoha as a whole in mind, Hayashi spoke up. Fortunately, I have an idea on at least one person to recommend for the job. And who would that be? Shikaku asked. All eyes were on Hayashi as he said, I would like to recommend Harold Fisher for the job. Wait, what? Shikaku said, caught off guard by Hayashi recommending the pink-haired idiot of a man to the position of one of Minato's advisors. Harold, as eccentric as he can be sometimes, has consistently shown that he has the best interest of Konoha as a whole in mind, Hayashi said, and whereas the Council of Elders was all too willing to send one of my clansmen to their death solely to appease an offending party who was the sole party at fault, Harold prevented said offending party's scheme to steal from my clan and exposed their scheming for the world to see. There's also how Harold is also one of the brave heroes who aided Lord Fourth in subduing the Ninetales when it had attacked. As some of the other gathered jonin talked, Fugaku cleared his throat. I was planning to recommend Inoichi Yamanaka for similar reasons, Fugaku said. In addition to Inoichi being the one who reported things to Lord Fourth about what the elders did to the Uchiha clan, he had also helped with settling reparations to the Uchiha clan. And like Harold, Inoichi is one of the brave heroes who aided Lord Fourth in subduing the Ninetales when it had attacked. Inoichi is not only a hero of Konoha, but he has also shown that he won't leave any of Konoha's ninja clans out in the dark. As much as I personally think Inoichi would be great for the job, Shikaku began, having him go in without me and Chozo there to keep him from showing why he's eccentric ain't exactly a good idea. Especially since he may very well go in with Harold. You're just jealous of our swagger, Harold said, with Inoichi nodding in agreement. A random Konoha jonin spoke up, but Harold Fisher and Inoichi Yamanaka are heroes of the village, especially with how they had aided Lord Fourth against the Ninetales. It wasn't just the two of them, a random female Konoha jonin added. Suminazuka was also there and lent aid, reportedly even landing a strike on the Ninetales herself. If you call smacking the Ninetales on the nose with a rolled-up newspaper landing a strike on the Ninetales, then sure, Kuramura muttered under his breath as he sat next to Tsum. That's right, another random female Konoha jonin spoke up. Tsum, Harold, and Inoichi are all heroes of Konoha who have helped to save the village and had done many acts in service to the village as well. They don't sit around gathering dust and barking orders unlike the elders. As a new chorus of talking happened amongst the gathered jonin, Minato had a look of deep consideration on his face. They all do have the confidence of the people, Minato said, not to mention that they all do have good records. After a few more moments, Minato said, perhaps I'll make Harold, Inoichi, and Tsum my new trio of advisors. Are you sure you want to make all three of them your new advisors? Shikaku remarked, I mean, Inoichi under the right circumstances can be managed. But you're gonna throw him in with both Harold and Tsum? Harold's bad enough, but Tsum is pretty crazy. It's called aura farming, Shikaku, Tsum said. No it's not, Kuramura said flatly. Despite the mild protest from Shikaku, and Kuramura to a lesser extent, pretty much every last one of the gathered jonin were in support of the idea of the trio of Harold, Inoichi, and Tsum being the new trio of advisors in service to Minato. They were notable heroes, and they had a good few noted accomplishments to their names. After a few moments, Minato spoke up. Yes, I think I will appoint Harold, Inoichi, and Tsum to the role, Minato remarked, provided that they will accept. Oh hells yeah, Harold said, with Inoichi and Tsum also both agreeing. As the other jonin, as a whole, all cheered, Hiruzen turned to look to Minato. Are you certain that this is a good idea? Hiruzen asked. Konoha needs leadership that it can trust, Minato replied, and Harold, Inoichi, and Tsum have the trust of the people. I do agree with that, Hiruzen said, but Shikaku is right about how the three of them have all shown to be eccentric. Some of the greatest people in history can be said to have been eccentric, Minato replied, and relaxed Lord Third. I'm certain that there will be no negative consequences to Konoha over making Harold, Inoichi, and Tsum my new advisors, and that everything will be smooth sailing. Minato couldn't have been more wrong. A couple of years had passed since that day, and now Minato's son Naruto, as well as Naruto's peers at the academy, were all around 12 years old. Graduation was coming up, and in order to pass and be made a genin, the students had to perform the clone jutsu, making at least 3 clones in order to pass. Naruto still hadn't been able to work out the basic clone jutsu, but he had firm mastery over the shadow clone jutsu. Using that, he made the required 3 clones needed in order to pass. As a result, he received a Konoha headband from Irika, who was presiding over the graduation test that the students had to do. Naruto had grown more since that day a couple of years ago when his dad got new advisors. Naruto's spiky blonde hair now was longer, more closely resembling how long his dad had let his hair grow. Naruto also wore a baggy long-sleeved orange shirt under a similarly baggy white t-shirt, baggy cargo pants held up with a belt, and the sandals that all shinobi seemed to wear. Naruto also saw his peers who also got their Konoha headbands. Most wore theirs the way most other Konoha shinobi wore their headbands, over their foreheads. However, Naruto saw that not all of his peers wore their headbands like that. Shikamaru, for example, wore his and an armband around his left bicep. Sakura wore hers as a hairband. Naruto also saw Hinata wear her headband around her neck, sort of like a necklace. Seeing that, as well as thinking it helped Hinata to look cute, Naruto decided to wear his headband around his neck as well, doing the same as Hinata. After the students who had graduated all got their headbands, they were dismissed until their teams were decided upon. Naruto was rather excited. He bet that Minato would be excited to see him having graduated from the academy and was now an official shinobi of Konoha. As Naruto made his way to see his dad, however, he stopped short when he heard Hinata call out to him. Naruto stopped to turn and see Hinata come up to him as quickly as possible. Hinata had also grown over the years into the 12-year-old that she was now. Her dark hair was worn in a cute short-time style with bangs framing her face. She wore a cream-colored hoodie, leggings that ended about 3 inches above her ankles, the same shinobi sandals that Naruto had, and Hinata same as Naruto wore her headband around her neck. Hinata was also still notably rather plump, with a casual glance suggesting she clocked in at 150 kilograms. Hinata had been a big eater and constant snacker for pretty much as long as Naruto had known her. Not, of course, was Naruto bothered by that. Hinata had always been kindly to him, so why bother getting hung up over her size? Besides, Choji was also big-boned and he still was effective enough to become a genin. Naruto nodded once to Hinata. "What's up?" Naruto asked. "I didn't get the chance to congratulate you on graduating," Hinata replied. "Oh, thanks," Naruto replied. "I was just on my way to go see my dad. I'm betting he'll like to see it that I had graduated." "My father is bound to be pleased that I had graduated as well," Hinata said. "He has been very kindly ever since I had found my confidence, and had been able to prove myself to him in training with my little sister." Indeed, Hinata, due to following some advice that she got, albeit following it way too much, had been able to keep calm and maintain some nerve in the face of trouble. As such, she was able to finally win matches against Hanabi, and do so frequently enough that she evened the score. Hayashi, pleased to see Hinata finally showing some worth, was happy with the progress and said that so long as Hinata kept it up, he wasn't going to complain. As things stood right now, Hinata and Hanabi were still even. The two sisters kept pushing one another, they kept improving. This progress and improvement is exactly what Hayashi wanted. He was getting what he wanted, so he couldn't care less about what all else went on. And it wasn't just earning Hayashi's respect that Hinata had been able to accomplish after gaining her nerve and confidence. Hinata had a curious look on her face. "Where is your father?" Hinata asked. "At the Hokage office building," Naruto replied. Even to this day, Naruto's status as Minato's son is a well-guarded secret, something only a very small handful of people in Konoha are familiar with. Hinata is one of the many people who didn't know, and Naruto was going to have to ask her for some privacy before he met with Minato. As the two now genin walked, they ran into Harold Fisher. He wore his flask jacket open, showing that he sported a baggy t-shirt with the logo of a popular brand of beer on it over a dark-colored long-sleeved shirt. The rest of Harold's outfit matched with what was commonly worn by Konoha shinobi ranked chunin and up. Harold was forcefully escorting, to the surprise of Naruto and Hinata, Mizuki-sensei, who looked rather beaten up. "Oh, word up, lil dude," Harold greeted as he waved at Naruto. "Mr. Fisher, what happened with Mizuki-sensei?" Naruto asked. Harold began, trying to find the words, mature adult legal trouble stuff. "He's in for quite the stern talking to. It wouldn't have happened if that damn talking dog didn't catch me," Mizuki scowled. Yeah, Kuramaru is awesome," Harold replied as he proceeded to take Mizuki away. Both Naruto and Hinata looked on confused, but shrugged it off. The two of them then made their way to the Hokage office building, where Hinata was asked to remain on the ground floor, as Naruto's dad worked on a higher floor. Hinata agreed, although she did wonder how high of a rank Naruto's dad held in the government of Konoha. When Naruto knocked on the door to Minato's office, he waited a bit for a response, and that response came when he heard Minato call out, "Who is it?" "It's me," Naruto replied. "Oh, come on in," Minato called back. Naruto then walked into the office and saw Minato sitting at his desk. Is now a bad time?" Naruto asked while closing the door behind him. "No, I was actually about to go out for a quick lunch break," Minato replied. Minato then spotted the headband around Naruto's neck. Minato smiled warmly. "I see that you had graduated from the academy," Minato remarked. "Yeah, I just wanted to tell you that I had graduated and wanted you to see," Naruto said, looking and sounding a bit pleading for attention. Minato did not miss that. He let out a gentle and resigned sigh. "It's great that you had graduated from the academy, and I couldn't be more proud," Minato said. "The only thing about it that I don't like is how I wasn't there for you as much as I would have liked. You deserve better than what I had been able to give." "Oh no, I know you're really busy with work," Naruto replied. "I know that you have a lot of big responsibilities and whatnot. I was just hoping to impress you is all." "And impressed I am," Minato replied. He got up from his desk, walked up to his son, and drew him into a warm, loving hug. "You continue to impress me more than you can guess, Naruto," said Minato. "Don't go doubting that." Letting go of Naruto, Minato said, "Now, I'm betting you're gonna wanna know who your teammates will be, as well as who your sensei will be." "I think I'm supposed to wait for the briefing, like what Konoha ninja are supposed to do," said Naruto. You wanna avoid spoilers," Minato said. "Good, you're showing maturity as a ninja already. Is there anything else you wanna ask about?" "Oh, Mrs. Fisher wanted me to let you know that there's an issue with the stove at home," Naruto began. "It's not working for some odd reason. Also, I ran into Mr. Fisher on the way here, and he was forcefully escorting Mizuki-sensei. Mr. Fisher said that Mizuki-sensei is in trouble, but I'm not exactly sure what for." Minato sighed. "Let's just say that Mizuki had been caught breaking a lot of rules," Minato said, "very serious ones. I don't want to scare you with the details." Naruto nodded once to his dad in understanding before saying he had to get back home, saying he'll see his dad there when he gets off of office work for the evening. Minato nodded in agreement and saw Naruto out. Minato, as he closed the door behind Naruto, still felt pangs of regret. Naruto had done a lot of growing up, all while Minato was running the village. It was an awesome responsibility and a huge honor to be the Hokage, but it didn't leave a lot of free time for family. Minato wouldn't blame Naruto for resenting him, or worse hating him, for being gone so much. It would break Minato's heart as there was no one who meant more to Minato than Naruto, but he would understand. Minato simply wasn't there for Naruto as much as he owed to him. It made the Hokage wish that things could be different. But at the same time, Minato was also proud of Naruto. He was toughing it out, he was dealing with it. Perhaps it was because Naruto still had some support while growing up. Sophia Fisher was the most constant adult in Naruto's life, but Jiraiya was also around enough to actually be in Naruto's life more than Minato had been. Minato owed a lot to both Sophia and Jiraiya. Sophia for basically raising Naruto, and Jiraiya for tutoring and training Naruto. Mind you, Minato was a bit surprised when he learned that Jiraiya had begun teaching Naruto the Rasengan after Naruto turned 10. Jiraiya gave the defense of wanting to give Naruto an awesome birthday gift by teaching him a cool new technique. But Minato relaxed, and even helped Naruto with perfecting the Rasengan. Minato later in a private conversation with Jiraiya had learned that Jiraiya had intentionally taught Naruto the Rasengan while leaving out 1 or 2 bits so that Minato can come in and finish the job. Jiraiya had deliberately manufactured an excuse for Minato to spend time with Naruto. Minato never stopped being surprised by his old sensei. He also never stopped being thankful towards Jiraiya. He may be a bit eccentric in a goofy old perv way, but Jiraiya was still bar none the wisest man whom Minato had ever come across. And now Naruto, with his academy training done and having received tutoring and training from Jiraiya, was a ninja. Minato only hoped that Jiraiya's more mature interests didn't rub off on Naruto. A few days later, Naruto, after he had his photo taken for a file, returned to the academy, as that's where he and his peers will learn who will be on which team and with which Jonin as their sensei. Naruto ended up finding a seat next to Sasuke. The two boys had grown close as good friends, with Sasuke saying that he finds Naruto to be the only one able to keep up with him. Sasuke's raven hair shot up in the back, but he had bangs framing his face. He wore a blue short-sleeved shirt, the Uchiha clan crest on the back, white baggy shorts held up with a belt, and shinobi sandals. Sasuke wore his headband around his forehead, which was standard for many of the students from Naruto's graduating class. Naruto was about to speak up, but he stopped short when he heard someone sit down next to him on his right side, as Sasuke sat on Naruto's left. Naruto turned to look and saw that it was Sakura who sat down next to him. Her pink hair was grown long, she wore a short-sleeved dress with green shorts worn under it, shinobi sandals, and her headband as a hairband. Sakura was also notably well-fed, being as big of a person as Hinata. Looking around, Naruto saw that pretty much every last girl in class was as big as Hinata and Sakura. He also saw a good few girls from other classes who were also all tipping the scales. This caught Naruto's attention due to the sheer frequency of it, but Shikamaru told Naruto that it was probably just girl hormones kicking into gear or something. Naruto, never once ever having had a reason to doubt Shikamaru because that guy always seemed to be sharp despite his lazy personality, accepted the judgment, and went on with his day. Sakura was one of the very few people in on the secret of Naruto being the son of the fourth Hokage, and kept the secret she did. She also became far nicer to Naruto than she initially was, learning about what all Naruto had to deal with as well as having things explained to her. Granted, Sakura's heart still belonged to Sasuke, and Naruto's initial schoolboy crush he had on Sakura had faded and was replaced with his concern and care for Hinata. But even so, Naruto and Sakura became and remained friends. Naruto even offered to Sakura to help her get with Sasuke, but progress there was slow-moving as Sasuke, being the son of the head of one of Konoha's most prominent clans, was often being trained in his clan's techniques. Hopefully that will be resolved soon, though. Eventually, Iruka walked into the classroom. "I see that all of you are punctual," Iruka said. "Good. You all will need that when you officially start doing work as ninja of Konoha." Holding up a clipboard, Iruka said, "Now, I will be telling you what your 3-person teams will be, and I will also tell you who your Jonin instructors will be." Everyone looked on in eager anticipation as Iruka cleared his throat before he began to read from the clipboard. "The first 3-man team will be Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke," Iruka began. "You 3 will be assigned to a Jonin called Kakashi." A few of the girls in class cried out in anguish over class heartthrob Sasuke being assigned to a team right away with another girl. Well, that girl who is Sakura wasn't complaining. "The next 3-man team," Iruka went on, "will be Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji. You 3 will be assigned to a Jonin called Asuma." Naruto looked around and spotted Ino. She wore a sleeveless purple dress, white shorts under the dress, shinobi sandals, and her headband around her forehead. She had a long blonde ponytail, aside from a length that went down over her forehead. Ino was also a rather plump girl, being as big as Sakura and Hinata. "The next 3-man team," Iruka continued, "will be Shino, Hinata, and Kiba. You 3 will be assigned to a Jonin called Kurenai." Naruto looked around, and saw Hinata, who nodded in understanding and acceptance. Naruto felt it would have been nice if he were on the same team as Hinata, but he knew that the senseis knew best and wouldn't question their judgment. A number of other teams were set up and assigned to senseis, but after that class was dismissed. It would be the last class that Naruto would ever have at the academy. As such, he lingered behind for a bit to speak with Iruka. Iruka-sensei?" Naruto began. Iruka's curiosity was piqued by Naruto hanging behind. "What is it?" Iruka asked. "I just wanted to say thanks," Naruto began, "for being my teacher while I was here at the academy. You were a great sensei. I'm gonna miss you." Iruka smiled warmly at Naruto's sincerity. "You're actually the only student who bothered to remain behind to thank me personally," Iruka said. "Sure, everyone thanked me as a collective, but you took time out to speak with me one-on-one." "Well, you were there when I needed it, Iruka-sensei," Naruto replied. Iruka understood why Naruto cared about that so much. Naruto grew up with his dad constantly away for work. Iruka was one of the few constant adult figures in Naruto's life. Sure, there was also Sophia Fisher who watched him full-time, and there was also Jiraiya. But Iruka also had a role in Naruto's upbringing essentially. Patting Naruto on the shoulder, Iruka said, "Naruto, you're ready. Ready to go out there and be a great ninja. I know you have all of that and more in you. I couldn't be more proud of you even if I tried." Iruka then offered an amused smirk. "Now go out there and show why you are among the top names of your graduating year," Iruka said. Nodding once, Naruto said, He then turned around and took off. Iruka could tell that Naruto was destined for something great, but what that was he couldn't tell yet. But he had a gut feeling that it will exceed even his wildest imagination. Naruto, he certainly was the son of the fourth Hokage, alright. Naruto got up at home, did his personal hygiene routine, got dressed, and was about out the door before he realized he almost forgot 2 things. First, he went to grab his bag, and then he grabbed his headband. Unlike most other genin who had just graduated from the academy, who opt to wear their headbands around their foreheads as normal, Naruto wore his around his neck, like it was a necklace. Now that he was truly ready, Naruto was going to leave. Sophia, who was over to mind the house, stopped Naruto before he left. Naruto, make sure you respect your sensei and get along with your teammates, Sophia said. Naruto nodded once in understanding. Of course I'm going to do that, Mrs. Fisher. Oh, did I tell you that Sakura is one of my teammates? Naruto asked. Oh my, that certainly is a surprise, Sophia said. It's been ages since I had last seen that niece of mine. I wonder how she's doing. Sakura is doing fine. The only worry she has right now is trying to get Sasuke to like her, Naruto replied, although I'm actually trying to help Sakura there. Sophia smiled warmly at that. Well, aren't you sweet, Sophia remarked. Yeah, I had even asked Hinata to help me and Sakura get Sakura together with Sasuke, Naruto said. She said that she will look into coming up with advice to help Sakura. Sophia couldn't help but giggle. Well, aren't you a kind young Cupid, Sophia said before giving Naruto a hug and seeing him off. Eventually, Naruto went to the academy, as he and his teammates were told that their sensei would be picking them up in a specific classroom. Naruto entered, and saw that he was the first to arrive. Naruto found a seat, sat down, and waited patiently. A short while later, Sasuke was the next to show up. Hey Naruto, Sasuke began, where's Sakura and the sensei? Shrugging, Naruto said, no clue. I was the first to arrive. Sasuke was about to speak up, but the door to the room opened, and in walked Sakura. Hey Naruto, Sakura greeted, hey Sasuke-kun. So the sensei is going to be the last to arrive, Sasuke noted. Hopefully this Kakashi-sensei person, whoever he or she may be, will get here soon. Kakashi-sensei is a man, Naruto spoke up, making Sasuke and Sakura both turn to look right at Naruto. He was leaning over in his seat to pull something out of his bag, then he sat back up. Naruto had pulled out a book, titled Tales of an Utterly Gutsy Shinobi. Also, he will most likely be a while, Naruto went on, so you had better get comfortable. Sasuke arched a wry eyebrow of piqued interest. You are familiar with Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke began. I heard about him, yes, Naruto began, being careful to not let Sasuke in on the fact that Naruto knew because Minato told Naruto all about Kakashi after Naruto told him that he got assigned Kakashi as his sensei. Sasuke is one of the many people in Konoha who isn't aware of it that Minato, the fourth Hokage, is Naruto's dad. He tends to get lost in thought and as a result runs late often, Naruto went on, but he's still a great jonin who values teamwork and one's comrades. The three of us all ought to keep that in mind while training under him. Well, if either of you boys get hungry, Sakura said as she put her bag on a desk and opened it, revealing she had brought a large number of snacks. Considering Sakura's current size, it's not too big of a surprise she'd bring snacks with her. Have either of you eaten yet? Sakura asked. I had breakfast before I left, Naruto replied. Also, your aunt asked me to tell you that she wishes the best for you. I haven't had a chance to eat yet, no, Sasuke said. What? Sakura said. Sasuke, you can't skip eating. That can't be good for you. Sakura then insisted to Sasuke that he take and eat at least one snack. A lot of them were snack cakes, and Sasuke wasn't much of one for sweets. However, he did see a small snack-sized bag of potato chips. And Sakura, although she looked firm in her insisting, was also radiating sincere concern for Sasuke over him having admitted he hadn't eaten yet. Sasuke actually liked how Sakura showed that level of care. It reminded him of Hinata, the first girl he ever had a crush on. Mind you, Sasuke wasn't crushing on Sakura, but he did appreciate how insisting Sakura was being in making sure he had something to eat. So he took the chips he saw, thanked Sakura, and then sat down to eat. Looking over, Sasuke said, What are you reading, Naruto? It's one of the books my grandpa had written and published, Naruto said. He's a published author, you know. Sakura sat down near the boys and began eating some of the snacks that she had brought with her. She was quite hungry too, so she tore through the snacks quickly. Sakura was surprised to hear that Naruto's grandpa was a published author. She was also surprised to hear it that Naruto even had a grandpa. Quite some time later, Naruto was close to finish reading the book he had. Sakura finished off all of the snacks she had brought, and Sasuke actually fell asleep. Still, no sign of sensei. He's really running late, Sakura remarked as she looked at the time. He'll get here, don't you worry, Naruto remarked. After a few more moments, the door to the room slid open, and in walked an adult male Konoha shinobi. He was outfitted same as most other Konoha shinobi, although he wore a mask that covered the entire half of his face below his eyes, and he had his headband worn down over one of his eyes, like it were an eye patch. What little of his face was visible showed him to be a fair-skinned man, and his whitish gray hair shot up straight, sort of like a broom. You three must be Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, the man greeted. Hello, I'm Kakashi Hatake, although you'll address me as Kakashi-sensei. I'll be the Jonin responsible for you three. Naruto gave Sasuke a shove that woke him up, and Sasuke, upon seeing the Jonin present, and assuming it was Kakashi, immediately bolted to attention. Oh, don't worry about that, Kakashi said. You're far from the first person who had fallen asleep waiting for me. And chances are that you won't be the last. I do tend to get lost in thought and run late. It's a rather nasty habit of mine, I will admit. Kakashi then had the genin all get ready to get going, as he wanted to have a little powwow to get to know all of them. Kakashi found a suitable public area and leaned against some railing while he had the genin all sit on the steps in front of him. So, tell me about yourselves, Kakashi said. What all do you hope to accomplish as ninja? I'm aiming to prove myself as an asset to my clan and to surpass even my older brother, Sasuke said. I'm aiming to become a great kunoichi, Sakura replied, then added while blushing bashfully, as well as to win over a special someone. Naruto looked down, thought about something for a moment. Then he looked up. I want to show that I can stand on my own, outside of the shadow of a certain someone, and I'm not going to let anything get in my way. I see, Kakashi replied. He had a basic idea on the family lives of his students, and could tell that Naruto, although he put up with it, still had issues stemming from Minato not being able to be around as much as he ought to be. Clapping his hands together, Kakashi said, Okay, kids. We're gonna head to the training grounds. I want to run a little test. Later, Kakashi had the genin standing before him at the training grounds. He showed them 2 bells, and told them that they had to try to take the bells from him within a set time limit, or else he'd have them dismissed as ninja. He also said that in order for them to pass, they had to have 1 bell each. But there was 3 of them and 2 of the bells. Oh, and you aren't gonna be allowed to eat until after the test, Kakashi added, drawing looks of shock from Naruto to an extent, and especially Sakura. Kakashi then took off, saying that the test had begun. Sakura fretted over Kakashi's threat, but Naruto was able to take command of the situation. We'll figure out other ways for the person who doesn't get a bell to be a ninja, Naruto said. Right now, what's important is to keep a cool head and work together to get those bells. We can't let Kakashi-sensei get to us. How do you propose we get those bells then? Sasuke asked. Smirking in amusement, Naruto replied, I got a plan. Kakashi was rather intrigued by the students he got here. One was the son of the head of one of Konoha's 4 great clans, and the other was the son of the 4th Hokage, Lord Minato. Kakashi was actually Minato's student way back in the day, so Kakashi had full reason to think that Naruto may know that Kakashi was just pulling a secret test of character here. Kakashi was yanked out of his thoughts, however, when he sensed a great heat coming at him. Turning to look, Kakashi saw a large fireball come flying right at him. Kakashi easily dodged the attack, and saw that it was Sasuke who had cast the fireball. I see why you're showing how you're proficient in your clan's fire techniques, Sasuke, Kakashi remarked, but if you think that you can just grab. Kakashi was cut off when something wrapped around his body and threw him off to the side. Recovering quickly, Kakashi when he got up saw that Naruto had a large toad the size of a grown human sitting next to him. This actually caught Kakashi's attention. Toad summoning? Kakashi remarked, thinking that he may actually have to get at least a little bit serious with the students here. Just what are they teaching at the academy nowadays? Kakashi leapt back, checked himself, and saw he still had the bells. He also saw there was a wet ring around his body. The toad summoning must have wrapped its tongue around him to grab him. Naruto then used Shadow Clone Jutsu, creating a small army of shadow clones to rush at Kakashi with. Kakashi was curious as to why Naruto would think ahead on tactic like this might actually work here. That was until Kakashi, in a split second, sensed and leapt out of the way of another fireball cast by Sasuke. Kakashi realized that Naruto was actually hoping to distract Kakashi for long enough for Sasuke to land a hit. So that's the reason for the headlong charge, Kakashi mused silently to himself, surprised that the genin are actually showing teamwork here. Kakashi was actually wondering what their game plan here was exactly. Naruto had some clones run around to try to corral Kakashi, but the masked Jonin saw through this. He could tell Naruto was trying to surround him. Still, he couldn't let himself get caught so easily, so he ran through an opening in the forest that he saw. Kakashi was even ready for when Sasuke would cast another fireball to try to strike him. The kids had surprised Kakashi, and they did show some excellent teamwork. Well, the boys did, Kakashi was unsure about. Whoosh. Kakashi suddenly stopped short in his thinking when something dropped down on him from above, as he was running along some trees. Drop on Kakashi it did, and it had ended up being Sakura who had Kakashi laying prone on the ground face up while she laid on top of him horizontally. Under normal circumstances, a girl of Sakura's age and height can't effectively keep a man of Kakashi's age and height pinned, at least for long. But Sakura had a considerable amount of extra padding, and that helped her to keep the masked Jonin pinned. She's got to weigh 150 kilograms, Kakashi thought as he actually struggled to heave Sakura off of him. However, in that time, Naruto quickly ran over and took the bells from Kakashi. Got him! Naruto cheered, he as well as Sasuke and Sakura, when she got up, were in good spirits that their plan had actually worked. Oh, so Sasuke and Naruto were trying to lead me into a trap where Sakura would jump down on me and try to restrain me, Kakashi remarked after the test had concluded. You guys actually come up with a plan where you all work together to try and take the bells from me. And it had actually worked, although I really didn't see it come. Toss. Kakashi stopped short when Naruto tossed the bells to Sasuke and Sakura, one to each of them. You guys go on and be ninjas, Naruto said, I'll find my own way. Sasuke tossed his bell to Naruto. No, it was thanks to the manpower you were able to drum up that we succeeded, Sasuke said, you ought to pass. Sakura then tossed her bell to Sasuke. You guys are both overall better than me, Sakura said, you two ought to pass. No, you and Sasuke ought to pass, Naruto said. No, you and Sakura ought to pass, Sasuke replied, getting a little firm. No, you and Naruto ought to pass, Sakura insisted, being more firm. The three of them then had an argument over who between the three of them ought to be left behind, with each of them volunteering for the role. The arguing went on for a bit until it was interrupted by Kakashi, because he actually burst out laughing. This drew confusion from the three genin. Kids, relax, Kakashi said, I'm passing all three of you. But there's only 2 bells, Sakura said, we each need a bell to pass, right? I was testing to see if you kids could work together as a cohesive unit, Kakashi said, as well as see if you all were willing to sacrifice yourselves for your comrades. You all did splendidly. The genin were all surprised that they all were being passed by Kakashi, who was just checking to make sure they could work as a team. Well, they certainly could, and they managed to pull off a trap that Kakashi had admitted he had honestly not seen coming. With the genin all passed, Kakashi said that he'll meet them outside of the Hokage's office tomorrow morning starting at opening hours, as they'll be getting their first mission as a team. Until then, dismissed, Kakashi said, you kids all go home and rest. You've earned it. I've got a few errands to run myself. Being relieved for the day, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura all took off. Over at the Hokage office building, Kakashi met with Minato in the Hokage's office. How much did you tell Naruto about me? Kakashi asked. All I told him was that you value teamwork and one's comrades, Minato replied. I didn't give him any warning about your bell test's true purpose. Oh, I may have also told him about your bad habit of getting lost in thought and run late as a result. Kakashi nodded once in understanding. Thanks for not spoiling the bell test, Minato-sensei, Kakashi said. Well, anyway, I believe that Naruto as well as Sasuke and Sakura are all ready for missions, although we'll only try for the lowest ranked ones. The kids are just genin, Minato agreed. It's not like I plan to assign them an S-rank mission. That would just be dumb. They'll just be offered the lowest ranked missions. Boring, sure, but still safe and within their capabilities. Kakashi nodded once in understanding. Well, anyway, we'll be in first thing in the morning to get a mission, Kakashi said. Since you said first thing in the morning, I'm gonna go ahead and schedule you and your team for about 45 minutes past first thing in the morning, Minato remarked, an amused smirk on his face. Sensei, come on, Kakashi said, I'm serious this time. Whatever you say, Minato replied. Kakashi took off, feeling embarrassed that he had been teased like that by Minato. The following morning, Team 7, that's what Kakashi said to the genin their team is called, arrived at the Hokage office building. The genin were surprised to see that Kakashi had actually beaten them there. He was not running late. Well, you guys are on time, Kakashi said. So are you, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto said, surprised to see that Kakashi wasn't running late this time. So, you kids ready for your first mission? Kakashi asked. Whatever it is, we'll take it, Sasuke replied. You kids may be disappointed. I'm not gonna lie, Kakashi said cryptically before he led the genin inside of the Hokage office building. Kakashi and his team had to wait for a time when the Hokage wasn't scheduled for anything. There were a few people that Minato had to see first, and they had appointments. But after about 20 minutes, Kakashi and his team were able to see Minato in order to get their first mission as a team of shinobi in service to Konoha. Oh, you're here a lot sooner than I expected, Kakashi, Minato remarked. We actually showed up right as the place opened for the day, Naruto spoke up. We would have been the first to see you, but people with scheduled appointments had to see you first. Well, it looks like I owe Kakashi an apology, Minato said, but we can cover that later. Now, I believe that you guys are here for your first mission as a team. What's the job? Sasuke asked. Checking through a file, Minato said, "Aha." Looking to the genin, Minato said, "Your first job will be." The genin all leaned in closer, in eager anticipation over what great and mighty mission they will be given. However, they stopped short when Minato pulled out a sheet of paper and handed it over to Kakashi. Running all of the errands on that list, Minato said, "You'll find the address of the client written on the bottom right corner of the sheet." Running errands. Kakashi saw that Naruto wasn't all too surprised with the fact he, Sasuke, and Sakura were being given missions like running errands, babysitting, which Naruto proved surprisingly good at, dog walking, retrieving the runaway cat of some overbearing rich lady because she was way too smothering towards the cat, and so on in that fashion. Naruto explained to Kakashi in private that he sort of expected it, given that Minato told him about the kind of missions that genin fresh out of the academy were given. Really, it was Sasuke who was the most bemused with the fact that the missions they were getting were the kinds of jobs that literally anyone can do, even without ninja training. Kakashi, out of curiosity, had asked Naruto how much about Kakashi himself had Minato told him about before meeting up with him to begin working as a team, as Kakashi is one of the very few in Konoha who was in the secret of Minato being Naruto's dad. Their talk was private, so there was no risk of the secret getting out. Nodding once to Kakashi, Naruto said that all that his dad told him about Kakashi was how he valued teamwork and one's comrades, as well as his habit of getting lost in thought and run late as a result. Naruto honestly wasn't expecting the secret test of character, he really was figuring out alternative paths to being a ninja after Kakashi's fake threat. Minato, when Naruto told him about the secret test of character that Kakashi pulled, wasn't surprised. He figured Kakashi would try it, but he didn't say anything so as to not spoil the lesson Kakashi wanted to teach. Kakashi, relieved, said that his lessons, although delivered in a way that came off as shocking, were important. "I believe that those who would abandon the mission are trash," Kakashi remarked, "but those who would abandon their comrades are worse than trash." With things settled, Kakashi took off, telling Naruto he'd see him as well as Sasuke and Sakura tomorrow to get another mission from Minato. With that, Naruto was able to return home. To his surprise, Naruto found that his dad Minato was there, entertaining both Sophia and Harold. "Oh, you're home early from the office, Dad," Naruto said. "Things got surprisingly light and I was able to clear everything," Minato replied. He walked up to Naruto and gently ruffled the top of his head. Your hair is getting rather long," Minato noted. "You may be due for a haircut. Or are you trying to grow your hair out like how I have my hair all long and spiky?" "I'm trying to grow my hair out to be more like how you have your hair," Naruto replied. Minato let out a chuckle, one radiating sincere amusement and fatherly warmth. "Ah, well, now ain't that sweet," Minato said. "Oh, Kakashi-sensei said that he'd bring me, Sakura, and Sasuke by for another mission tomorrow," Naruto said, "although it'll probably just be more of the same as what we've been getting so far." "Yeah, Asuma and Kurenai are getting the same for their teams," Minato said. "It's great that the senseis are trying to put you kids all to work. You all need to develop work ethics." "Indeed, Lord Fourth," Harold said, "your boy, my niece, and Fugaka's daughter Sasuke." "Sasuke is a boy, Mr. Fisher," Naruto interjected. Looking surprised, Harold asked, "Are you sure about that? Because me, Inoichi, and some all thought that Sasuke is a girl." "He's a boy, Harold," Minato confirmed. "Trust me. I remember back when Sasuke was still a young baby, and Makoto had me change a diaper on Sasuke for her when I visited the Uchiha clan compound this one time. I saw proof that Sasuke is indeed a boy." "You know how to change a diaper on a baby?" Harold asked. Gesturing to Sophia, Minato said, "Sophia showed me how. It helped when I had to change diapers on Naruto when he was a baby and Sophia wasn't at the house." "We're getting off subject," Harold said. "What I'm trying to say is that your boy, my niece, and the Uchiha boy all are great genin. No doubt they're pulling off stunts like dealing with hostile forces, as well as—" Harold," Minato began, cutting in, "I've only been giving Kakashi and his students the most basic of missions. Naruto and the other genin are just, well, genin. It's not like I have any plans to knowingly send them on a mission where they may face hostile forces." Oh, yeah, that's right," Harold replied, looking like he had just realized something. As well as start to think about something. It was a usual day in Konoha when Kakashi, head of Team 7, led his students to the Hokage office building to get a mission from the Hokage. It was business as usual. As Kakashi led his students up to see Minato, they saw Kurenai and her students coming down from having seen Minato just now. "Ah, Kurenai," Kakashi greeted, "how's it going?" "Oh, I just got another D-rank mission to take my team here on," Kurenai replied. "There's a good few left according to Lord Fourth, so if you're planning to take your team here on a mission like that, you won't be wanting for options." It wasn't just Lord Fourth who was there, Shino spoke up, All three of his advisors were there as well, including Kiba's mom and her ninja dog. Again, I'm sorry about what my mom said when you met her right when you became my team leader, Kurenai-sensei, Kiba said. Looking curious, Kakashi asked, what does Kiba mean? Sighing, Kurenai said, when I was first assigned to lead this team, I met with the respective parents of Shino, Hinata, and Kiba. Shino's parents, as well as Hinata's father, were all alright to deal with. Kiba's mom, however. Flashback. Kurenai walked with Asuma as they made their way to a bar. Same as Kurenai, Asuma was also wanting to meet with the parents of his students. Asuma had already spoken with the moms, now he needed to speak with the dads. Luckily for him, the respective dads of all three of his students was at the bar, same as Kiba's mom who Kurenai was looking for. Upon entering the bar, Kurenai and Asuma heard the noises of good cheer and celebration. They took a look around, saw that everyone was having a good time. Ah, there's Shikaku Nara and Choza Akimichi, Asuma said, pointing out Shikaku and Choza sitting at a table, each nursing a mug of beer. Curiously enough, Sim's talking ninja dog Kuramaru sat on the floor next to the chair that Choza sat in. Kurenai and Asuma walked up to Shikaku, Choza, and Kuramaru. Excuse me, are you two Shikaku Nara and Choza Akimichi? Asuma asked. We are, Shikaku replied. Who's asking? I'm Asuma Sarutobi, Asuma began. I'm the Jonin instructor that your respective sons were both assigned to. I just wanted to touch bases with you men to see if there was anything that I ought to be made aware of. Ah, so you're the Jonin who'll be training my boy Choji, Choza said. Well, I certainly see nothing wrong with that. And you're a Sarutobi too. The traditions continue, Shikaku remarked. Oh, I'm guessing you're also gonna wanna speak with Inoichi Yamanaka. Yes, he will, and I'm looking for Tsum Inuzuka, Kurenai spoke up. I'm Kurenai Yuhi, and I'm the Jonin instructor that Sim's son Kiba was assigned to. I got it that she'd be here. I'll show you guys over, Kuramaru said. Sim, as well as Inoichi and a lot of the other guys here, are celebrating how their kids had just graduated from the academy. Even Harold is here to drink in celebration, given his niece had also graduated. Kuramaru stood up and had Kurenai and Asuma follow him. The talking ninja dog led Kurenai and Asuma over to where a few bar patrons were clapping and cheering as Harold, Inoichi, and Sim were all dancing in unison while the three of them were singing, Yo ho, ahoy and avast, being a pirate is really badass. They're a little sloshed, just to give you fair warning, Kuramaru said to the Jonins. Turning to where Harold, Inoichi, and Sim were all, drunkenly, dancing and singing, Kuramaru called out, What's Sim? You and your bar buddies have visitors. The trio of Minato's advisors stopped and walked up to Kuramaru. Oh, sup Kuramaru? Sim greeted. Sim's eyes then fell upon Kurenai and Asuma. Sim looked up and down at Kurenai before pointing at her while asking Kuramaru, Who's this bitch? Sim, this is the Jonin instructor that Kiba was assigned to, Kuramaru said. She says her name is Kurenai Yuhi. Sim went a bit wide-eyed with surprise, and looked to sober up a bit from the shock. Oh shit, Sim said. Looking to Kurenai, Sim in a somewhat sheepish manner said, Sorry, I'm a little wasted right now. So you're the Jonin who'll be mentoring my son Kiba, huh? Yes, Kurenai replied, brushing off how a drunk mom had just insulted her. Is there anything that I'll need to know about Kiba? Well, he doesn't drink unlike me, Sim said, if that helps. Also, Akamaru is housebroken. Kurenai gave a gentle sigh. Although she figured that Kiba himself will be easy enough to work with, his mom Sim may very well be an entirely different ballpark altogether. Flashback over. Gently shaking her head, Sakura said, Why doesn't it surprise me that my uncle would join in on drunken revelry? At least he didn't drunkenly insult Kakashi-sensei to his face, Sasuke said. Well anyway, Lord Fourth and his advisors are all waiting, Kurenai said, and said advisors are sober, so it's safe to assume they'll behave. Kurenai and her students then took off, with Naruto wishing them all luck. Team 7 then made their way up to Minato's office, with Sakura dreading that her uncle may potentially embarrass her in front of Sasuke. That would be a complete and total nightmare for her. She doubts she'd be able to live it down if Harold said or did something that would casual the hotness that is Sasuke to see her in a negative light. Up in Minato's office, Team 7 stood in front of Minato's desk, at which Minato himself was seated. Standing off to the side was Harold, Inoichi, and Tsum and Kuramaru. Again, you're coming in at reliable times, Kakashi, Minato remarked. We would have been here sooner, but we ran into Kurenai and her students on the way up and stopped to chat for a moment, Kakashi said. Yeah, I still can't believe that I called my son's Jonin instructor a bitch while I was drunk before I knew who she was, Tsum remarked, looking embarrassed. Yes, Kurenai told us the story, Kakashi said. Clearing his throat, Minato said yes, quite. Well, anyway, there's a number of D-rank missions available for you to choose from to take your students out on. Oh, Lord Fourth, if I might interject, Harold began. Dreading where this could lead, Sakura muttered under her breath, oh no. Looking to Harold, Minato said, What is it, Harold? I believe that getting nothing but D-rank missions will only help the growth of Kakashi's students so much, Harold began. They'll eventually have to take a mission with a little bit more oomph to it, and I believe that now is a good time to give them such a mission. I'm not saying that you should give them something that's too crazy, but at least give them something that will take them out of the village. Sakura was feeling a bit mortified that her uncle was trying to volunteer Team 7 to take on a mission at a level above what they're generally given. She was especially afraid of how Sasuke will react, especially as she saw it when Sasuke took a step forward and raised a hand while he said, If I may speak, Lord Fourth? Looking to Sasuke, Minato asked, Yes, Sasuke? I actually agree with your pink-haired advisor, Sasuke remarked as he lowered his hand that he had raised. I personally believe that my teammates and I aren't being tested enough with the missions we're currently getting, so one that has a bit more challenge to it might be right up our alley. Provided that both you as well as Kakashi-sensei are alright with it. Sasuke, you shouldn't really be bothering Lord Fourth, Kakashi said. No, it's not a bother, Minato assured Kakashi, and both Sasuke and Harold do have a point. A mission more complicated than running errands is gonna come to your team at some point anyway. I do in fact have such a mission lined up, a simple escort mission to the Land of Waves. It'll see to the guarding and escorting of the foreman of a construction crew building a bridge. An escort mission, huh? Sasuke asked, already intrigued. The worst you'll have to deal with are simple bandits, or a hostile wild animal, nothing that a genin can handle in direct combat, Minato remarked. Kakashi looked to his students, then to Minato. Well, sir, if you believe that they can handle it, then we'll take it, Kakashi said. Very well then, Minato replied. He then asked one of his advisors to go get the client. Inoichi left and came back a moment later with a drunk-looking older man. Pointing to Kakashi and the rest of Team 7, Inoichi said to the drunk old man, that there is the ninja team who will escort you. Arching a wry eyebrow, the old man pointed at Naruto and said, he wears his ninja headband thingy like how a girl would. Minato had to control himself from snapping at the client, even though said client had just made a rude comment towards his son. It's actually a style of wear that's more popular than you'd care to guess, Minato said. Team 7, this is Tazuna. He's the client that you'll be escorting back to the Land of Waves. Hopefully things will go smoothly, Kakashi said. Tazuna tipped the hat he wore to cover his eyes. I hope so as well. Later, Team 7 was out on the road with Tazuna, heading to the Land of Waves. Seriously, they make ninja this young? Tazuna said as he walked with Team 7. Oh, you'd be very surprised by the level of quality that there is among Konoha's youth, Kakashi remarked. I can personally guarantee you that my students here are very much certainly proving themselves as able-bodied shinobi. As the group continued to walk, Naruto noticed something. Hey, does anyone have any idea what the weather has been like for the last few days? Naruto began. It's been nothing but clear sunny skies for the last few days, Kakashi replied, and it's expected to remain as such for a few more days. Nodding once in understanding, Naruto said, fair enough. Hey Sasuke, can you hit that puddle on the ground over there with a fireball? Curious, Sasuke looked around and saw the puddle that Naruto was pointing out. Okay, Sasuke replied, wanting to see where Naruto was going with this, but you had better explain yourself afterwards. Sasuke then cast the fireball jutsu, it flying right at and blasting right into the random puddle on the ground. Two shinobi suddenly leapt out of the puddle, both in a panic as they both got hit by the fireball that Sasuke had just cast. Good instincts, Naruto, Kakashi praised as he rushed in to deal with the shinobi. Kakashi also noticed and was suspicious of the puddle, but he thought that none of his students would have cast any suspicion on it themselves. Kakashi kicked one of the two shinobi away while Naruto and Sasuke ran in and attacked the other one, while Sakura hung back to guard Tazuna. The two shinobi were easy to deal with, but then again their sneak attack and ambush had failed and they were left scrambling to try to get back up on their feet. Kakashi and the boys had the shinobi defeated and bound, but the attention of Team 7 turned to Tazuna. You knew full well that enemy shinobi were coming after you, Kakashi said. You knew and yet you withheld that and lied about the level of danger. Tazuna scoffed, although he did have the decency to look at least a little bit ashamed. If your village knew the truth, you would have charged more, Tazuna replied, and I just can't afford that. The Land of Waves just can't afford that. We still dealt with the problem easy enough, Sasuke said, and none of us were hurt. If this is all that we have to worry about, then I fail to see how. It's not that simple, Sasuke, Naruto spoke up, surprising Sasuke. A mission where even one enemy shinobi is expected to pop up would raise its rank to a level above what a team of 3 genin, even with a jonin with them, ought to be assigned. This mission had just gone well above what we ought to have been given. Sakura normally would bemoan the fact that her Uncle Harold was partly responsible for the mess here as he got Team 7 into it. But it was clear that more fault was on Tazuna, who had withheld vital information and made Konoha think that the mission was at a safer rank than what it actually is. Also, if Sakura cast any blame on Harold, then she'd also have to cast blame on Sasuke, and no way does she want to do that. What should we do? Sakura asked. Kakashi was about to speak, but he dropped suddenly while shouting, "Everyone get down!" Everyone ducked, and suddenly a rather large sword spun through the air before sticking hard into a tree. A masked and shirtless ninja landed on the large hilt of the sword, then looked down at Team 7 and Tazuna. "The old man has to die," said the masked ninja, "nothing personal. Now get out of my way and let me kill the old man or else it will get personal." Looking up at the ninja, Kakashi said, "I recognize him. That's Zabuza. He's a rogue ninja with a huge bounty on his head." His gaze narrowed suspiciously. "But last I heard," Kakashi went on as he addressed Zabuza, "you got a rather generous patron trying to grant you shelter from being hunted. And said patron wants to make sure that damned bridge ain't built," Zabuza called out as he jumped up, grabbed his sword, and flew right at Tazuna. However, Tazuna was yanked out of the way suddenly, much to Zabuza's confusion. He then saw that a large toad the size of a man had used its tongue to grab the old man and pull him away. Looking over, Zabuza saw Naruto commanding the toad. "A summoner?" Zabuza said, "That'll be a problem." Zabuza then tried rushing Tazuna and Naruto, but stopped when Kakashi rushed him, his headband lifted away to reveal a red eye with multiple tomo. Kakashi used a kunai to block off Zabuza's massive sword. "Oh ho ho, you must be the famed Kakashi of the Sharingan," Zabuza said. "Think you can stop me?" "Well, technically I am on a job right now," Kakashi replied as the two men pushed back and forth. Zabuza was able to push Kakashi away with a kick, then turned to try to face him with his sword. However, Zabuza sensed an oncoming attack and leapt to dodge the fireball that had been cast by Sasuke. This further pushed Zabuza back, right in the path of a large swarm of shadow clones from Naruto. Zabuza was able to bust a few, but the sheer numbers overwhelmed him, and one of the Naruto curled up on the ground directly behind Zabuza while another Naruto pushed him, making Zabuza trip and fall over. A few other Narutos kept Zabuza pinned, including by his arms so he couldn't get up. The real Naruto then flew in, a Rasengan in his right hand, then he came right on down and smashed the Rasengan right into Zabuza's face, right into his nose. A huge burst of power flared out, and Naruto heard and felt a sickening crack. Naruto and his shadow clones backed off and allowed Kakashi to survey the damage. "Zabuza is dead," Kakashi said after checking for a pulse. "I don't believe it." Getting up, Kakashi remarked, "Naruto had just single-handedly killed a hostile rogue ninja who was at the rank of Jonin." Mayor, was I supposed to do that?" Naruto asked, looking nervous like he had just screwed up big time. Kakashi gently shook his head. "It was a kill or be killed situation," Kakashi said. "I can't blame you, especially since I was planning to kill Zabuza as well, given the threat he posed to you and the rest of." "Ah!" Kakashi was cut off when he and the others all heard someone scream out in anguish, and turning to look they saw who they thought was a girl, judging by the outfit, wearing a mask that totally covered their face. This person was turned to face Naruto. You killed Zabuza," the masked person said. He was my only reason for living." The masked person then rushed at Naruto, and trapped him within a cage of conjured ice mirrors. However, in their haste to trap Naruto, the masked person also trapped Sasuke. The masked person then started throwing Saban needles from all angles at Naruto and Sasuke, hitting both boys a lot. At one point, Sasuke shoved Naruto out of the way and got hit by a flurry of needles. "That ought to be enough to kill you," the masked person said to Sasuke, whose head was hung. However, Sasuke, despite the boasts of the masked person, did not drop dead. He instead looked up and right as the masked person. Both of Sasuke's eyes were red with Tomo in them. "Sharingan?" the masked person said. "You're an Uchiha?" Smirking despite the pain, Sasuke said, "And I'll be more than any other before or after me." But Sasuke collapsed to one knee and coughed up a bit of blood. Getting serious, the masked person said, "I'll have to kill the Uchiha first, I can't let him." "Raha!" The masked person was cut off when Naruto roared out, radiating thick red chakra in whirling flares. He then became engulfed in an aura of red bubbling chakra that took the form of a beast who was multi-tailed. This cloaked Naruto then lashed out, shattering the ice mirrors one by one until the masked person fell out of one. "Leave Sasuke alone!" Naruto roared, his tone and expression carrying a savagery that wasn't entirely his own, as if another source was loaning him power purely out of whim. Naruto rushed the masked person and drove a Rasengan right into their face as well, shattering the mask to show that the masked person was a really pretty girl. But Naruto, too enraged by the threat to Sasuke, as well as how Naruto already had another girl in his heart, didn't hesitate in the slightest. He kept pushing the Rasengan into the pretty girl's face, until she suffered the same fatal damage that ended Zabuza. With the pretty girl dead, the last of the ice mirrors simply collapsed. The chakra cloak faded, and Naruto stumbled a bit but remained on his feet. Naruto, once he regained his bearings, ran to Sasuke. Sasuke was rather banged up, but he would ultimately be fine. Naruto aided Sakura when she came over to pull the Senbon needles from Sasuke's body. Their first serious encounter with hostile ninja, greater than that any of them could have counted on, but they still all pulled through just fine. Kakashi looked on, reasoned that his students would all be fine, and let out a relieved sigh. He then turned to look at Tazuna. "You have a lot of explaining to do," Kakashi said, making it very clear that Tazuna had no way out here. Later, Naruto and Sakura had Sasuke laying on the ground, having put bandages on all of his Senbon wounds. Sakura also moved to put bandages on Naruto's Senbon wounds because he got some as well, but mysteriously he was wound free. "Oh, I always had healed fast," Naruto said, brushing off Sakura's concern. Sakura nodded in understanding before Kakashi and a guilty-looking Tazuna came walking up to the genin. "I went ahead and used a scroll to seal away the bodies of Zabuza and his masked helper boy," Kakashi said, and yes, the person with the whole face covering mask was indeed a boy. But that's besides the point. Kakashi then turned to face Naruto. "Naruto, since you're the one who had killed Zabuza, you can expect a particularly large payday to come your way. Zabuza had a rather high bounty on his head, and that bounty is yours. You'll also be paid for your role in taking down those two ninja who were in the puddle. They're still unconscious, and we can bring them back alive." "Bring them back?" Naruto asked, "as in back to the village?" "I'm going to have to abort the mission," Kakashi said. "I had just gotten the true full story about what all is going on over in the Land of Waves from Mr. Tazuna here. There is absolutely no way that we can go there, it's far too dangerous." Sasuke arched a wry eyebrow as he sat up from where he was laying on the ground. "Dangerous how, exactly?" Sasuke asked. "I think we should wait for further details," Naruto spoke up. "This is probably something too sensitive to talk about here. The village will be a safer location." Kakashi nodded once towards Naruto commendingly. "Yes, Naruto, exactly," Kakashi said, "and Mr. Tazuna here will be telling everything that he told me to Lord Forth." Sasuke sighed. He was still hurting, and his eyes, which had settled back down to normal, were still feeling a bit burning. "All right," Sasuke said. "Hey Naruto, Sakura, can one of you help me up?" Sakura immediately obliged Sasuke, although when she pulled Sasuke up, she did so in a way that resulted in her accidentally having Sasuke's face shoved into her breasts. "Ah," Sasuke said, the sudden shock of getting a face full of boobs shocking him into being more alert. Scrambling away, Sasuke said, "Sakura, I am so sorry." No, Sakura replied, looking and sounding embarrassed. "I wasn't careful with how I had pulled you up. If anything, it's my fault for not being slow and gentle to avoid mistakes." "Well, Sasuke, for better or worse, is perked up enough for us to get going back to Konoha," said Kakashi. "I had already sent a messenger animal back to Konoha. We should meet up with other Konoha shinobi who'll help us escort the enemy shinobi we had captured alive." Kakashi turned to look at Tazuna. "And I am serious about you telling Lord Forth everything that you told me," Kakashi went on. Everyone then had to turn around and head on back to Konoha, with Tazuna looking like he knew full well that he was in trouble. The first mission that Team 7 had that was above D rank in difficulty had ended in Kakashi having to abort the mission. Team 7, along with a guilty-looking Tazuna, the two surviving ninja who were forced out of that puddle by Sasuke, and a small group of Konoha shinobi who met Team 7 out to help with escorting the captured enemy ninja, soon made their way into the village proper. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were home. But they all had a feeling of defeat, of failure. Their first mission with any degree of seriousness to it, and they didn't complete it. Kakashi assured them that they weren't at fault. Upon getting the truth out of Tazuna, Kakashi instantly knew that not only did the mission far exceed the danger level that was given due to Tazuna's lie, but that it would take a lot more manpower to have any hope of pulling off. Seeing that his students were still looking like they felt down in the dumps, Kakashi, after he got clearing to do so while Konoha intelligence worked on the live captured ninja as well as get the full true story out of Tazuna, offered to teach them an exercise/technique to help them with refining and sharpening chakra efficiency. "I'll be showing you kids how to walk up trees," Kakashi said, even demonstrating it by walking up a tree. My grandpa already taught me how to do that," Naruto spoke up. "You have a grandpa?" Sakura asked. I got the full story from Naruto's dad, Kakashi said. It's actually Naruto's godfather who he is talking about, but a bit of mishearing what was said made Naruto think that the man is his grandfather instead, at least at first. Naruto still refers to the man as grandpa, though. Honestly, I think that it's rather sweet. After having Naruto demonstrate the tree walking technique, Kakashi saw that Naruto had full mastery of it, so he asked Naruto to help him with training Sasuke and Sakura. It took a good bit of time, but Sasuke and Sakura eventually got the hang of it. Perhaps after our next serious mission, Naruto began, assuming it's successful, Kakashi-sensei will ask me to help him with teaching you guys the water walking technique. You can do the water walking technique? Kakashi asked. What all did the academy teach? Grandpa taught me, Naruto cut in. Nodding once, Kakashi said, yes, that explains it. Kakashi wondered what all else Naruto had been taught by his grandpa. Kakashi knew who Naruto's grandpa was, and would guess that Naruto got the toad summoning and Rasengan from him. No, Minato had invented the Rasengan, maybe Naruto learned it from him. Kakashi also had a good idea why Naruto had reportedly had so easy a time at the academy. He had one hell of a tutor all the while. Kakashi didn't have time to think about that, however, as he and his students were met up by Harold, who came jogging up to them. Okay, let me get one thing out there first, Harold began. I was not expecting you guys to run into hostile enemy shinobi. If I had even one inkling of a suspicion that there might have been enemy shinobi involved, I would not have let Lord Forth assign that mission to you. I would have spoken up and urged him to assign something else. If Lord Forth had any inkling of a suspicion that there might have been enemy shinobi involved, he wouldn't have assigned that mission to us in the first place, Kakashi replied. He, same as all of us, had the wool pulled over his eyes by Tazuna. Nodding once in understanding, Harold said, fair enough. Second, even though you guys had to abort that mission, you're still gonna be fully paid for it as if you had succeeded. Lord Forth said you guys coming back with some enemy shinobi who have info on what's really going on will help to actually resolve the issue that Tazuna really had. As a side note, Lord Forth is nothing short of impressed that Naruto had killed 2 enemy ninja, one of which being Zabuza who was at Jonin rank. He can expect some serious pay for the bounties scored. Nodding once, Naruto replied, thanks, sir. Looking curious, Sasuke asked, I'm just wondering, but what actually is going on in the Land of Waves? What was it that Tazuna was after? Later, Team 7 followed Harold, who had been joined by Inoichi, Tsum, and Kuramaru, up to Minato's office at the Hokage office building. There, the 4th Hokage explained to Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura the story. The Land of Waves was under the thumb of a criminal enterprise ran by a gang lord called Gato. Gato wanted Tazuna dead as Tazuna was heading up the construction of a bridge that would cripple the monopoly that Gato had on business in the Land of Waves. However, that all changed when a considerable force of ninja from Kyuubi came in, took over things in the Land of Waves, killed Gato, and were now in firm, absolute control over the Land of Waves. Essentially, the Land of Waves was now a territory under the control of Kyuubi, who was looking to be expanding their holdings in the world. They even offered Zabuza and his helper amnesty in the Land of Lightning for their continued work. Kyuubi, similar to Gato, didn't want the bridge built/finished as not only would it weaken their hold and income on and in the Land of Waves, but it would make it easier for citizens of the Land of Waves to flee and seek refuge outside. Tazuna estimated a minimum of 40 Kyuubi shinobi, ranging from the Chunin to Jonin ranks, in his hometown. The captured enemy shinobi said there was a lot more Kyuubi shinobi in the Land of Waves than that. Kakashi only had the numbers given to him by Tazuna to work with when he decided to abort the mission and take everyone back to Konoha. With what all we have now, it's clear that the mission to the Land of Waves shouldn't have even been a mission, Kakashi began to say. This requires military force to deal with, significant if we're to push Kyuubi out of and liberate the Land of Waves. Now isn't exactly the best time for a military operation, Minato replied, given that the Chunin exams are coming up and Konoha has to keep a lot of presence here in the village proper for that. Perhaps Konoha can send word of Kyuubi's bullshittery here to Suna and IWA, Harold suggested. Back when Kyuubi tried to pull a sneaky sneak on Konoha, both Suna and IWA offered to lend aid to help spank Kyuubi into submission. Holding a hand to her chin, Sakura said, I had always wondered why Suna and IWA had both decided to side with Konoha. Sakura said, logically, if they both sided with Kyuubi, it'd be a 3-on-1 that Konoha most likely wouldn't have gotten out of. The 3 villages there would have made serious profit off of us. This is a question a lot of folks in Konoha had asked, Inoichi began, my own daughter Ino included. The answer to the question is actually quite simple. Suna and IWA, by siding with Konoha against Kyuubi, had developed positive, heroic reputations. They came off as good guys with Kyuubi being the baddies. It had helped to generate trust in Suna and IWA. Minato nodded in agreement. Inoichi is right, Minato said, being trusted can be very valuable. Besides, with Suna and IWA on our side, if it had come to blows, it still would have been a 3-on-1 but with Kumo on their own. Suna and IWA still would have made serious profit, but it'd be off of Kumo instead. Noble, well-received heroes enjoying rightfully earned spoils of war, Harold remarked. Minato nodded in agreement. Quite, Minato replied, and that's actually a good idea. I'll send word of what Kumo's doing in the Land of Waves to the governments of Suna and IWA, then ask them to aid Konoha in removing Kumo from the Land of Waves. We will, of course, begin with trying peaceful negotiations first, but if that falls through, then as much as I hate to say it, but there's a distinct possibility that the Fourth Shinobi World War may break out. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura all went wide-eyed at that revelation. They heard about the other Shinobi World Wars, but only in history lessons back at the academy. None of them had been alive for any of that horrid business. But now they may very well live through an era marked by the ravages of war. It was not something that they were looking forward to. Something that the genin were looking forward to, however, was the Chunin exams that were coming up. Kakashi, having sensed the growth of his students, recommended that all 3 of them for it. In a similar vein, Asuma recommended the trio of Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino, and then Kurenai recommended the trio of Shino, Kiba, and Hinata. Wait, you recommended the 3 of them? Some asked Kurenai, you mean the 4 of them? I have only 3 students, Kurenai said. Some's pissed because you aren't counting Akamaru as a member of the team, Kuramaru explained to Kurenai. The ninja of the Inuzuka clan take their bond with their ninja dogs very seriously. Oh yeah, Kiba's ninja dog, Kurenai remarked, you know, while I was out with my team, some rude fellow was getting up in my face and trying to start something. While that fellow was distracted with yelling at me, Akamaru walked over and peed on his feet. He didn't notice the dog urine until after Akamaru was already running back to Kiba. Some burst out laughing at the story, using it as an example why ninja dogs are just as vital to the team as the human ninja. But aside from all of that, the genin in Konoha were all getting ready for the Chunin exams. And said exams will see genin from other villages arrive to try out and raise their ranks. The level of competition was going to be fierce, but Naruto and the other Konoha genin all had faith that they would be able to do well. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, after weeks of getting ready in anticipation, had come to the day that the Chunin exams. They were making their way to where the first part of the Chunin exams would be held. Along the way, they spotted a number of genin from other villages. The symbols on their headbands were clue enough of that. How many villages do you think are sending genin here to take part in the Chunin exams here? Sakura asked as she moved along with Naruto and Sasuke. I got it that 3 major villages are taking part in this exam, Naruto began. Konoha, which is us, plus Suna and IWA. A few other lesser ninja villages are also having their genin take part in these exams, but I didn't get an exact number on how many such villages will be represented. As the genin of Team 7 moved, they spotted 2 trios of genin talking to one another. One group was from IWA, and the other was from Suna. The group of IWA nin looked generic enough, but the genin in the group of Suna nin all looked varied and unique, much to the piqued interest of Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. The first Suna nin in the group was the only girl and looked to be the tallest. Fair-skinned like the 2 boys with her, she had sandy blonde hair and 4 pigtails, and she wore this sort of light pale pastel purple dress. She also wore shinobi sandals, and her Suna headband which she wore around her neck. She also had on over her back some long and large black thing that Naruto couldn't identify. The second Suna nin was one of the boys, and he dressed in all black, had purple lines on his face, his Suna headband was integrated into his black cowl, a pair of shinobi sandals, and he also had something large on his back, but it was wrapped up with cloth so no one on Team 7 had any idea on what that mysterious large thing could be. Lastly in the trio of Suna nin was the other boy. The shortest of the group, but he radiated power. He was sort of pale compared to his fellows, with scruffy crimson hair of a medium-long length. He also had a tattoo on the one side of his forehead, a kanji that meant love. He wore a short-sleeved dark-colored top, similarly colored leggings, shinobi sandals, and he had an utterly large gourd on his back, his Suna headband wrapped around part of the strap that held the gourd to being over his back. Naruto also felt something that made him feel connected to the shorter Suna boy. But he had to put that to the side for the time being, because from the looks of it, the Suna and IWA genins were in a discussion with one another. Seeing this, Naruto, out of curiosity, walked up to the 2 groups of foreign genin. What's going on? Naruto asked, getting the attention of the foreign genin as both Sasuke and Sakura caught up to Naruto. Konoha Shinobi, said one of the IWA genin, tell us, is it true that Konoha is planning on taking some form of military action against Kumo? Something about a dispute going on over in the land of waves? Gently shaking his head, Naruto replied, sorry, but I have no clue about any sort of business like that. I'm not told a lot, I'm just a genin. That's fair, replied the Suna boy in black, sorry, it's just that Jonin and Suna heard rumors about that, and they're hoping said rumors turn out to be true. IWA is hoping for that as well, said the second IWA genin. It'd give IWA an excuse to launch offenses at another major power, and not only get away with it but come out looking like one of the good guys. IWA is kinda hurting money-wise right now. IWA and Suna both, said the Suna girl. The Suna girl looked to Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. You guys going to the Chunin exams? Asked the Suna girl. We are, yes, Sakura replied, we even have the address. Are you guys lost? We are, but the Suna genin here aren't, said the third IWA genin. We were about to ask them if we could tag along, but we got distracted talking about how we hope our respective villages get an excuse to more or less raid Kumo efforts. If you all would like, we can let you guys tag along with us, Naruto remarked. The shorter Suna boy regarded Naruto curiously. You seem like a kindly person, said the second Suna boy, but I get the feeling said personally belies a great deal of skill and power. Naruto was intrigued by the shorter Suna boy, and for reasons he couldn't explain. But luckily everyone here was being civil, so together the lot of them went to where the Chunin exams were being held. Eventually, everyone made it to where the Chunin exams were being held. The IWA and Sunanin both went on ahead, but Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura lingered behind. They were in a ground floor room, with a semi-open staircase on the far side going up along the wall. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were about to head up the stairs. However, they were stopped when a voice called out, not so fast. Naruto and his friends all stopped to look and saw it as a fair-skinned genin leapt out and landed gracefully in front of them about a meter ahead. He wore a green full-body leotard, orange warmers on his forearms and shins, shinobi sandals, and a Konoha headband around his waist, or probably integrated into some manner of belt. He also had his black hair in a perfectly round and shiny bowl cut, and his eyes were big and expressive. He also had a serious look to him, like he was ready to take any challenge. You're a Konoha genin, same as us, Sasuke noted, but we have no idea who you are. Would you be so kind as to introduce yourself, especially since you went through the trouble of getting the three of us to focus on you? Of course, introductions are in order, said the bowl-cut boy. My name is Rock Lee. And you, raven-haired boy, are Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke arched a wry eyebrow. You're familiar with me, Sasuke said. You're one of the top graduates of your year from Konoha's Ninja Academy, Rock Lee said. You are a person I wish to test myself against. But it's not just you. Turning to look at Naruto, Rock Lee went on, you are Naruto Uzumaki, another top name in your class. But then again, that's not too much of a surprise, given that you are the son of the fourth Hokage. What? Sasuke said. Naruto, surprised that Rock Lee somehow knew, attempted to bluff. That's a rather bold claim to make, Lee, Naruto said, rather far-fetched too. It is not far-fetched, Rock Lee said. My sensei is one of the few who had been trusted with that secret, and he told me plus my teammates all about it. Turning to look to Naruto, Sasuke said, Naruto, is what this bowl-cut weirdo saying true? Is the fourth Hokage really your dad? Looking like he knew he had been found out, Naruto admitted yes, but it was supposed to be kept a secret. Looking to Rock Lee, Naruto went on, I'm not sure who your sensei is, but by telling you and your teammates about that, he had broken a very serious oath of secrecy. Why would you just up and spoil a secret like that? Sakura asked. Sasuke got vibes from Sakura that she somehow knew the secret as well. He was going to be asking Sakura, as well as Naruto, some rather big questions later. I didn't mean to cause any offense, Rock Lee said. I had figured that everyone on your team was privy to that information. What's your name? I got the names of Sasuke and Naruto, but I didn't get your name. Gesturing to herself, Sakura replied, my name is Sakura. Nodding once, Rock Lee replied, I see. Got it. Bowing his head once in a respectful manner, Rock Lee said, it's a pleasure to meet your acquaintance, Sakura Akimichi. Sakura immediately became unamused. My last name is Haruno, Sakura said. I'm not a member of the Akimichi clan, nor do I have any Akimichi clan ancestry. Also, what made you think that I'm an Akimichi? Because of how incredibly fat you are, Rock Lee said matter-of-factly. I had asked. Rock Lee was cut off when Sakura, roaring in angered rage that surprised Rock Lee and kept his focus for long enough to not be able to stop it, rushed forward and swung her right foot right up into Rock Lee's holy land, scoring a critical hit. Rock Lee dropped to the floor, hands covering his wounded manly member, and laid prone as Sakura stomped on Rock Lee's left side. As Naruto and Sasuke watched Sakura angrily stomping on the downed Rock Lee, a loud shrill whistle sounded out, making Sakura stop and turn to look. Naruto and Sasuke also turned to look, and as such they saw two other Konoha shinobi that they didn't recognize. The first was a fair-skinned girl who wore a pink sleeveless top, green leggings, shinobi sandals, and a Konoha headband around her forehead. She had her brown hair in two round hair buns. The second was a fair-skinned boy wearing a white short-sleeved coat, grayish baggy shorts held up with a belt, shinobi sandals, and a Konoha headband around his forehead. His dark hair was worn straight, and it was pretty long. He also had the Byakugan, which Naruto took note of as Hinata also has the Byakugan. The two mysterious Konoha genin came down and the girl of the group had Sakura back off while the guy picked Rock Lee up, putting Rock Lee's left arm over his shoulders to hoist him up. "Sorry about our friend here," said the boy with the Byakugan. "He means no offense, but can be blunt and lacks a good deal of tact." Naruto eyed the new arrivals curiously. "You're Rock Lee's teammates, aren't you?" asked Naruto. "We are, yes," said the girl. "I'm Tenten, and the guy picking up Rock Lee is Neji." "We're sorry that Sakura kicked Rock Lee in his nuts and then stomped on him when he went down," Sasuke said. Gently shaking his head, Neji replied, "Lee kind of had it coming. His lack of being able to tell what is and is not appropriate to say has gotten him hit more than once. Although he really should not have offended someone who is related to Sir Harold." Sakura's interest had been piqued by Neji mentioning her uncle by name. "You are familiar with my Uncle Harold?" Sakura asked. "He is a hero to the Hyuga clan. His efforts years ago has saved us from a terrible loss that would not have been easy to deal with," Neji said. "He also had shown that the impossible is in fact not impossible, that anything can happen. Sir Harold is a great man." "I'm guessing you guys are here for the Chunin exams?" Naruto asked. "We are, yes," replied Tenten. Naruto had a serious look on his face. "Rock Lee mentioned that he had learned from the sensei you guys have that my dad is the fourth Hokage," Naruto began, "and that you two had been told as well. Is this true?" "Yeah, Guy sensei mentioned that," Tenten said. "It's pretty amazing. I can't believe that Lord Fourth has a kid." "Yeah, it's supposed to be a secret," Naruto went on. "I'm not sure who exactly this Guy sensei person is, how he knew / was trusted with the secret, but he wasn't supposed to tell you guys or anyone else about it because, well, it's supposed to be a secret. You guys haven't told anyone else, have you?" Gently shaking her head, Tenten replied, "No, I haven't." "My lips have also been sealed on the matter," Neji replied, "although to be honest, it's mostly due to me finding a lack of reason to talk about it." "Yeah, well, please don't tell anyone about it, okay?" Naruto asked. "It's a secret for a reason. Also, Rock Lee, you can't tell anyone else about it." "But I had already told the other Konoha genin that I had run into about it while I was trying to look for you and Sasuke," Rock Lee said with heaving breaths, struggling through the pain. "You're so lucky we're getting ready to take the Chunin exams, otherwise I'd have thrown a raisin gun into your nuts," Naruto scowled, annoyed, as he and all of the others went upstairs to look for the room to take the first part of the Chunin exams in. Naruto and his teammates eventually made their way to the room in which the written portion of the Chunin exams, said portion being the first part of the exams as a whole, would be taking place in. They had also come with the group of Rock Lee, Tenten, and Neji, who was helping to support Rock Lee after his hidden treasure was grievously assaulted. The exam room was packed. There were genin from many villages in the room, looking to go up in rank. Most were from various lesser lands, but a good few were from 3 of the 5 major villages, those being Konoha itself, along with Suna and Iwa. The sheer number of genin from foreign lands here in Konoha for the Chunin exams was quite staggering indeed. As Naruto and the others looked around the room, they were met up by the others from Naruto's graduating year from Konoha's Ninja Academy. "What happened to the bowl-cut-haired fellow?" Shino asked while pointing at Rock Lee. "He made the mistake of remarking on something he should not have remarked on," Tenten said, "and was appropriately punished for it." "What did he say?" Shikamaru asked. "He remarked about Sakura's size," Naruto explained. Choji hummed in understanding, giving a likewise nod of his head. "I'd probably react the same way if someone remarked about my size." "Yeah, he needs to understand tact," Neji remarked. What he did earlier was Neji was looking to be trying to think of the right words to say. "Totally bogus?" Neji remarked. "Yes, that sounds like the right way to put it." Sakura arched a wry eyebrow. "That sounds like how my Uncle Harold would put it." "It's not all that surprising, Sakura," Hinata remarked. "A lot of members of the Hyuga clan hold your uncle in very high regard. Some Hyuga clansmen even try to emulate your uncle in some ways. Neji isn't the only one." Sakura had a suspicious look on her face. Now when you say that some of your clansmen are trying to emulate my Uncle Harold, Sakura began. They try to be ninja of the same level and standing as him, Hinata replied. I haven't seen any of them drink to the extent your uncle does, and none of them act really silly like your uncle does. I do have to admit, however, that I have seen at least some very mild silly behavior out of Niji, but it's usually when he talking about your uncle's fighting style. Rolling her eyes in an exasperated manner, Sakura said, oh yeah, what my Uncle Harold calls the frat bro style of fighting. My dad also does that, Ino said, sounding and looking mildly embarrassed. As the Konoha genin all talked, they were approached by some fair-skinned guy with whitish gray hair long enough to have in a men's ponytail, though he let the bangs frame his face. He wore glasses, a light gray t-shirt under a dark sleeveless top, leggings the same color as the top, a pair of shinobi sandals, and a Konoha headband around his head. Wow, so you all are the new Konoha genin who are taking the Chunin exams, huh? Asked the boy with glasses, glad to see I'm not the only one. The name's Kabuto. I haven't seen you around, Sasuke said, a bit suspicious of Kabuto. You also look a bit older than the average here. Looking embarrassed, Kabuto said, well, this isn't my first go at the Chunin exams, if I'm to be completely honest. It's a rather hard and trying exam. But then again, it's used to determine if a genin can be promoted to Chunin. The process has to be rigorous. I'm not sure about you, Konoha Glasses Boy, a familiar female voice spoke up, making everyone turn to see the trio of Suna genin come walking up. It was the Suna girl who was talking. But I'm fairly confident that us from Suna have things here in the bag, the Suna girl went on. Oh, you guys are those Suna genin we met earlier, Sakura remarked. Nodding once, the Suna girl said, we are, and holy geez, a lot of the girls from your village are pretty big. I thought it was just you. Hey, Hinata said, there's no need to remark about our size. She's got a point, Tenten scowled. I'm not sure how things go down in Suna, but here in Konoha it's not polite to make comments like that. The Suna girl eyed Tenten. Why are you complaining? Asked the Suna girl. You're the only Konoha girl here from what I see that isn't a whale. Calling us names like that is very uncalled for, Sakura replied. You're lucky we can't settle things here now, Ino snarled. Looking amused, the Suna girl said, oh? Sounds like you. Temari. The Suna girl stopped short, and both she and the Suna boy in black turned to look at the shorter Suna boy, the one with the large gourd on his back. The shorter Suna boy had his head turned to look at the Suna girl. He was giving her a sharp glare that made her tense up. You're being rude, the shorter Suna boy said to the Suna girl, apologized to the Konoha Kunoichi. Now. Alright, said the Suna girl. She then bowed her head in apology to the girls in the group of Konoha genin. I'm very sorry for remarking about the weight of the plus-sized girls in your party, the Suna girl said, sounding a bit alarmed and fearful. I would also like to apologize for Temari's behavior, the shorter Suna boy said as he too bowed his head in apology. It was uncalled for. The Suna girl so easily, and fearfully, bending to the shorter Suna boy's word caught Shikamaru's attention. You seem to have a rather firm command over your peers here, said Shikamaru, getting Temari, was it? Yeah, getting the Temari girl to apologize. Well, Gaara here is bar none the strongest that Suna has to offer, the Suna boy in black said while pointing at the shorter Suna boy. With power like that, you just gotta follow him. So Temari and Gaara, huh? Sasuke said. Nodding once, the Suna boy in black replied, yeah, their names are Temari and Gaara. My name is Kankuro, by the way. Naruto smiled. Well, at least some of you guys are nice, Naruto remarked. He even held a hand out to offer a handshake to the Suna genin. Surprisingly, Gaara was the one who took it up. Good luck to you guys on the exams, Naruto went on. Likewise, Gaara replied. Naruto was about to say something else, something about how he felt a sort of connection to Gaara. And Naruto could tell that Gaara likewise felt that connection as well. However, a shrill whistle was sounded out, and all of the genin were instructed to take their seats as the first part of the Chunin exams was set to begin. The first part of the Chunin exams, a written portion, was clearly trying to test knowledge. However, the questions were all extremely difficult, and a few of the genin were caught trying to cheat to get the answers. The proctor for the written portion of the Chunin exams, a scarred man named Ibiki, was clearly enjoying making things as hard as possible. However, a good number of the genin were able to get through the first 9 questions, either by successfully cheating without being caught, or by straight up being smart enough to figure out the questions. Sakura and Naruto were among the ones able to reason out the answers to the first 9 questions on the written portion of the test. After a set period of time, Ibiki called out, "Alright, you brats. Now's the time for the 10th and final question. Additionally, the 10th question is optional. However, if you don't choose to take it, you'll fail." If you do take it but get it wrong, you not only fail, but you'll be barred from ever getting to promote past the rank of genin. Now then, are yo? Question, a random IWA genin said as he raised his hand. Arching a wry eyebrow, Ibiki said, I suppose you want some clarification. Go on. Lowering his hand, the IWA genin asked, how in blazes do you have the authority to decide that? Excuse me? Ibiki asked, sounding a bit annoyed. How in blazes do you have the authority to decide that everyone here could potentially be kept at the genin rank forever? The IWA genin went on, I guess that you might have that authority with the genin here in Konoha, but what gives you the right to declare that a genin from outside of your village can never rise past the rank of genin? Don't you think that the heads of the other villages might get mad that some of their genin will forever be stuck at the rank of genin solely because some dude from Konoha says so? Hey, yeah, that's a valid point, Kankuro remarked. I'm pretty sure that the heads of the other villages whose genin are taking part in the exams here will get pissed if their genin are permanently stuck as genin because some dude from outside of their village says so. I know for sure that the Kazekage will totally raise a stink over it if Suna genin are stuck as genin due to the word of a Konoha ninja, and will complain to the Hokage about it. There's no way that you actually have the authority to decide that, said a random genin from a lesser village. Hell, I'm pretty sure that clan heads of clans in Konoha will get pissy if they hear some of their genin will be stuck as genin because you said so. Ibiki looked like he was struggling to mount a counter-argument, but stopped short when a window in the room was crashed open, and in flew some lady who in one swift motion as she flew and set up a banner that congratulated the genin who were still in the room for passing. Well, alright kids, the lady said, I'm Anko, and... The now identified Anko took pause when she saw how many genin were still in the room. Turning to look at Ibiki, Anko said, Wow Ibiki, you're losing your touch. I can tell just by looking that the number of genin who passed the first part of the Chunin exams is an all-time record high. You're slipping. Actually, Ibiki's bluff was called, said one of the lesser proctors in the room. Aha! I knew it! Said the first random IWA genin. There really is no way a Konoha ninja has the authority to declare that a non-Konoha genin can never raise their rank. Something like that would cause international drama amongst the ninja lands. Looking curious, Anko said, Wait, that whole secret test of character thing where Ibiki sees if the genin are willing to take risks? I thought that Lord Fourth had barred Ibiki from trying to pull any secret test of character ever again, given what happened 3 Chunin exams ago. I'd rather not bring that nasty business up, Ibiki remarked. And so, a record number of genin passed the first part of the Chunin exams. Not because of showing they're willing to take risks, which is what Ibiki was trying to check, but because he was trying to bluff and his bluff was called. As a side note, Anko, who said she was the proctor for the second part of the Chunin exams, said she was going to tell Lord Fourth that Ibiki tried to pull another secret test of character on the exam takers during this Chunin exams. Please don't, Ibiki said. Eventually, the remaining genin were led to an utterly large fenced-in forest. Okay kiddies, Anko began, this here is the Forest of Death. This is where you all will be taking the next part of the Chunin exams. The Forest of Death? Shikamaru said questioningly. Nodding once, Anko said, each team will be given one of 2 scrolls, either an Earth Scroll or a Heaven Scroll. The objective for each team is to get the scroll they're missing, then make it to the tower in the center of the Forest of Death. Oh, opening the scrolls is strictly forbidden, and unlike Ibiki, I am not bluffing. The scrolls have to remain sealed in order to be counted when they're turned in. Wait, each team is only given one of 2 scrolls, but each team needs one of each scroll to pass? Temari asked.